Good evening and welcome to another Wednesday broadcast of the American Ricci Mahjong League. Nathaniel here, joined by Isabella for Session 6 action, and I am so looking forward to this, Isabella.
I am as well. Thanks so much for having me, everyone. I can't wait to see some really fun mahjong. As usual, Armel is always so entertaining because you have some great players doing some great play.
And as we get to the end of the season, this is Session 6, so there are only 2 weeks remaining. Players are making their final attempt to make the promotion zone or avoid the relegation zone. And we're going to be opening things off in this A2 division. We've actually already had a couple games complete. It looks like Arthur Korak has locked in 119.4 points, 24 games in the books. For Claire, Eric, Michael, and Dennis, they have some games to catch up, actually. I believe this is technically a round 5 game series, rather, that is finishing up, and that will have big impacts on chances at making the promotion zone. So Korak is in the clubhouse, and I'll have to see how this table does.
Yes, everyone who is finishing their games or having their final sessions completing, they'll be watching the games that have a bit more freedom, more playroom. So like Claire and Eric, I believe, have 8 games left, which is quite a lot of games to see where they'll shake up. Since once they're done, they can't change their score.
Absolutely, and we do have the game underway. It is Claire opening us up as the first dealer. To the right, Eric. Across the table, Michael. On the left, Dennis. And the goals are a little bit different for each of these players. Claire and Eric, 7th and 8th place respectively, aiming for the top. For Michael at minus 7.4. And 6 games remaining this season, there still is a decent chance at making it into the positives at the very least. For Dennis, though, the goal is to avoid relegation, so any positive result here is going to be really important.
There's also always a chance of bonus promotions or bonus non-relegation zones. So as long as they're in the positives, they have a chance of getting a bonus promotion slot, which means if someone from A1, for example, goes on hiatus and Edwin, who is in charge of creating all the different sections, needs to fill, they would fill from A2 from those in the bonus promotion slot. So right now, Jason would be getting that bonus promotion slot, and Claire and Eric are trying to snipe that away from him or just get fully into the promotion slots themselves. Whereas Dennis wants to get, if not out of the regulation zone, up to 19th, which is the first spot of demotion, because if he ends up needing to keep people in the league in A2 because of other hiatuses and other leagues, then it is the first person on that list with that down arrow who will be spared, I would say, from moving down.
We've already got an exciting start to things. Dennis opening up with the Ricci on the Sanzo. Claire immediately chases. Third Ricci by Eric. But it's going to be Claire who wins it out here. Ricci P. Tanya on the 6th mon for 5,800 points. No Uda, but collecting the Ricci sticks as well. Claire off to a good start.
And now it is Claire's dealership, with not a terrible hand, but has a few extra honors and edge tiles that she wants to get rid of. But no one else is significantly faster. Maybe Michael across the way.
I would say Michael's got a pretty decent shot. I'm also looking to find Dora, and Claire's the only player that has a 3-mon in hand. Although here we see Eric pulling one in, completing the 1-2-3 sequence. So that's a fantastic draw. It's just some of the other shapes in hand are rough. That 8-9 pin penchon, 8-8-9 so is a similar shape. So it could be tough for Eric to put the rest of the hand together.
When you say 8-8-9 and another 8-9, and I see a 7 and now an 8-mon, I'm thinking 7-8-9 Sanshoku.
Oh my, with a 1-pin as our pair, we could even get Junchan with this as well. So I suspect Eric will just call straightforward to the Junchan if at all possible.
That might be actually the most direct route. And because it is, once again, I'm sure all our viewers know, but this is Akanashi, no red 5s, you're not losing any value by going for the outer hands. Oh, but does decide to swap.
Wow, that is a little bit of a surprise.
Maybe missed it, or maybe looking for Itsu on the Manzu side.
It might be also a little bit concerned about the open hand, perhaps, from Michael, who is Tempai, by the way.
동.
Got that early tempai waiting on the 2-5 pin, and will take the win for just 1,000 points plus Homba. Claire
But
deal
getting Claire off their dealership.
absolutely, and she can't be too upset about picking up a net gain of 6,500 on the dealership. And that sends us into East 2. Eric will have the chance as the dealer. Initial glance at this high pie says, it's about average. Would love to find the second East, but that's already come out once. And so it's probably going to be a pretty slow hand building to a Ricci on the right. Michael as well. Perhaps aiming for a Ricci. Has a few honor tiles to get through.
Yeah, that single north tile, which is Dora, which Claire has promptly rejected and thrown away right away. Did not need that in her hand. And Michael's like, maybe I'll keep this around for a little bit. You know, maybe you'll tanky on it later. Dennis, though, very interesting hand. A little bit overblocked. He has 4 pairs, but those pairs lead very nicely to maybe an extension or a Ramen. So I think he has actually a very fast hand if he gets, you know, ideal draws. Oh, and now we're Mochi Mochi on the Hatsu for Michael and Claire, and Michael getting rid of that pay.
Claire really needed that Hatsu. She was relying on that for the Atosuke call to just complete the Yaku, but she might need to do Chanta instead, and at least has the blocks for it.
Yeah, she has been swapping to Chanta. That 7-8 in her discard is a little bit painful.
Yeah, it's nice
when try and get it back.
It's nice when you can make a call that has 2 options. Like, obviously, you want the Green Dragon, but if that doesn't come together, you have a backup plan, and very important. Claire is still able to win this hand.
Eric going for another potential Junchan situation over here. Maybe even Junchan Sanchoku getting that 7-so. That did throw that 1 pin early, but there's still 3 more. No one else has one yet.
That's true, yeah. At the time, it might not have looked so apparent that the hand could have been Junchan, but certainly has moved that direction now. And at least he's got the Sanchoku backup, so 8-so would be Tempai with a 2 Hanyaku if he gets it closed. In the meantime, on the right, Michael also drawing a lot of pairs. Up to 5 now, so that's just Chitoi Ishantam.
Dennis also Ishan 10 on the 1-4 pin or on something connecting to that 1-3-3 shape, either 3-mon, 2-mon.
He probably really likes the idea of waiting on the 3-mon 8-so Shapo if he draws the 4 pin for Tanya reasons. And also, the 6-so has come out 3 times, so it's really hard for players to use the 8-so. Feels like that could come out really naturally. Surprise, surprise, Claire actually has one that can be used, and Eric can also use the other 8-so.
Eric really wants the 8-so actually. Oh, but there's a 5 which connects really well to get rid of that 2-4 Kanchan, which he will take and will likely end up with the Sanchoku route, or it might be Richinomi if he Ankos up the 9-so or the 1-so.
Yeah, that's a really interesting decision there. Could have called the 6-pin for a Tempai, Sanchoku only, and said, it's too late to try to build into anything more, but Eric really seeking out value here. Will stay closed.
Exactly as you called it, Nathaniel. It is the 3-mon 8-so Shabo for the Tanyao.
I do appreciate Dennis waiting 1 turn to perhaps draw into 2-4 Sanchoku, but decides, 1 turn's just a turn too many. 2 turns, maybe a turn too many.
Samogiri Ricci had the option to shift up on the 2-pin, which was more recently discarded, but decides just to assert his dominance, I would say, by Sumogiri Ricci saying, I've been Tempai this whole time.
In the meantime, Claire draws the deal in 3-mon, but that gives her Tempai, so waiting on the 3-so.
Another Sanzo wait from Claire.
That's the big Tempai for Eric. You have to jam the 5, but I think it's worth it. 5-mon Nakasuji. Claire dropped the 2.
That's the closed Sanchoku Pinfu. Oh, but Dennis Sumo, the 3-mon, the very last 3-mon.
Oh, the Ura as well. Huge win
that
for
will
Dennis.
Be Mangan. 2,000, 4,000. And this is what Dennis needs. As we said, he wants out of this relegation zone.
Yeah, and you know what? We saw that the greed from Eric, it sort of paid out. He got the big Tempai, Ricci Pinfu Sanchoku, 12,000 points as dealer minimum. But it also allowed time for Dennis to get there too, and Dennis ended up taking the points. So going into East 3 now, we have Michael in the dealer seat with a pair of Dora and excellent shapes, gorgeous shapes. Too
Claire
many
perfectly
shapes.
filling in that 7-9 pawn.
What do you do?
Yeah, Eric. Oh my god.
Okay, Michael was 6 pin, gonna hold the overlapping diamond shapes 2, 3, so and 4, 5, 6, so rather. But what we have a tempai across the table. Claire already hitting tempai as well.
Maybe Dama because she sees upgrades. It could be Pinfu, it could be upgraded anyway if she draws around the 2 or the 5 for a Rianmin weight.
Yeah, this is a really classic Dama from Claire. She definitely looks for value here. And I think I do too in this spot with the Shampon, 2 mon, 5 mon and 2 pin. I do think I'll get it the upgrade. She can also work her way down to Tanya as well, so lots of chances. But Eric on the left also very close to tempo. I went away.
Eric just taking the perfect Ishanten that he has been given, waiting for that 2-5 or 4-7. So
Yeah, just going with the Dama. Could have held the 4 pin, as you said, for
Eat.
that perfect. But all right, there's the upgrade that Claire was looking for. And we're going to
Eat.
see an immediate chase with the Dora, incidentally, from Eric. I know I'd be a little bit cautious about throwing that out there.
on Epots as well, but he was confident that Claire didn't have it, and he won that bet.
Yeah, he was right. All right, it's 3-6 mon for Claire. Not bad. Richie Pifu. Similar value for Eric on 4-7. So I think they're about equal in the wall. Maybe a slight advantage to Eric. 5 tiles versus 4.
There's
versus
that
3.
2-pin Claire could have Tsumod if she stayed on the Shavo.
I can see chat exploding with just, that's why you Richie. No need to Dama, just slam the button. The 7 so.
Gong.
Comes out from Claire, and Eric will win this Ricci battle. And Eric and Claire are in their own battle for 7th and 8th place right now, trying to get up there to those promotion spots.
Yeah, the head-to-head.
Very close in points. But Eric is about 30 points less than Claire, so she has about a 30-point buffer.
Yeah, I remember going into the season, Eric absolutely dominated in B1 last season, I should say, and easily made his way back to A2. Also positive this season, looking for that big boost in this series. Dennis, though, in the dealer seat now. White Dragon Dora, once cut already by Eric. Shapes are a little bit weak for Dennis, so we'll just be aiming for a dealer Ricci.
I am curious about where Michael's hand is going to go. He has options for this Chinitsu, maybe Honitsu, but would have to cut 2 shapes. Not great shapes, but 2 shapes.
And one of them improving now to a 5-6 pin, so that certainly makes you feel a little bit more likely you'll build a normal hand. The 1-2 mon, as you said, though, not strong either, so you could sacrifice that to hold the door a little bit longer or try to aim for some so tiles.
Unfortunately, 2 doors have already been cut, though, so it would be a door honky if it comes down to it.
Claire making progress across the table. 1, 2, 2 away from tempai, so really nice acceptance, though, with the floating 5 so, and that 3, 4, 5, 6 pin shape that's incomplete. And this 5, 5, 7 mon shape. A million tiles that will make progress. Approximately.
That is a connection tile, that 7 mon. I don't know if that would be any better than the floating 5 so, but
If you're not satisfied, you could
usually
just
know
throw it
better.
back. Oh, but this is interesting now. A chance that 1, 2, 3 pin Ipeko rejects it.
Claire also very close to Tenpai Ishanten, just waiting on something to finish in that Sosu block. Does a Karagiri. I don't know. That's been a talk lately about what do they mean when they Karagiri. What's the point?
Yeah, usually you
That's a
Karagiri
nice
when you want to
upgrade.
draw eyes to that part of your hand. And I guess that's the part of the hand that is complete for Claire, and she really doesn't have any other use for pin tiles. So if players are thinking you've got something around that 2 pin that is part of a shape that's incomplete, they'll be sorely mistaken.
We do have another Sozu, but it's a weak Sozu block, and Michael has somehow been able to upgrade his 1-2
Yeet.
Penchant to a 7-8 Ryanmin. Oh, but it will be the Ricci from Dennis, who we thought had the slowest hand at start, but now it is going to be the Shavo on this 6-mon 9-pin. 9-pin being a pretty good weight. You see 3 8-pins out in the wall.
And even
So, and 1 9-pin.
right, that's what I was thinking. Even though the 9-pin is once cut, that almost makes it a better weight somehow. It'd be a little suspicious if there weren't any 9-pins with all of these 8-pin cut. Michael's got a tough task on the left. 1 away from Tempai. However, that Ricci's causing problems. Actually threw away the 7 so even. It's not even going to be able to find Tempai here immediately.
Full folding.
We do have a call from Eric. Not for a Tempai that can win, though. No Yaku.
Is currently in 4th place right now. So even those 1,500 points just for being Tempai does matter here.
Yeah, makes
Claire
him willing
drawing. Yeah, Claire drawing a Ricci tile, a dealing tile, does get saved from dealing it in, but doesn't matter because Dennis will sumo anyway on the very last 9-pin.
Yeah, the pull.
Just sumo.
Michael finding Tempai there with that 2-so pull, but that gives the winning tile back to Dennis. So he will claim the victory up to 41-9 and repeating as dealer with a pair of Dora. No complete shapes. I open this up and I think, what's my fastest route to Tempai? And then I look at the rest of my hand and see that it's very slow.
And you're sad, but you know what? That's what you did last time, and you still made it there first, believe it or not.
That's very true. Okay, we see an interesting decision here. Chun comes out, no call from Michael on the left.
Yep, I was wondering about that too, but maybe looking for this Sosu Honitsu, having 2 Yakuhai, now Chun and Pei, maybe we'll now call one of them if they come up.
Yeah, but greed pays off. Ends up drawing the north wind, seat wind for Michael.
Claire also decides she's got to go faster and pawns the first ease, but does let Dennis fill in his 1-2 penchant with that 3-mon, with the shifting of the draws.
Yeah, we'll see if Claire can
now
fill
Claire
this
Tempai,
7-so.
I believe. Yeah, Tempai on 7-so.
Obviously,
easy upgrade.
Yeah. Would you pull an 8-pin? There's only 1 left, but you get a Tonki, and then you can switch that around.
Let's see. Probably not. I don't think so.
Yeah, I think that's a move that's easier to do early rather than later, but it's still sort of mid-game, so you could consider it.
It's definitely an option. I'm looking if I can get 40 fu from this, but I don't think there's any way that's going to happen. Oh, great fill for Dennis. Decides to take the 6-pin floater for potential Ipeco shape and shape extension over the floating 5, which I think is a great choice.
Yeah, we do have Tempai across the way for Eric on 4-7 so. If for some reason Dennis chooses to drop the 7 so, it will be double roam. No head bump in this league.
There's some very exciting games.
And I could see a world where that 7 comes out. For example, oh, hang on a second. That's a danger tile for Claire. Yeah.
It does switch it.
This is a really nice move. It allows her to even get a strong weight. She can pull in 3-so or 8-pin and improve her weight. And this is the world where Dennis finds himself in trouble. The 3-so comes out, but we'll see that pull for the 2-5-so.
Unfortunately, I did just notice you cannot pawn the 8-pin, but that's okay because a 3-so came out because 8-pin is door indicator and was called over across the way by Eric. But it's okay because Michael got the Tempai drawing the last tune in the wall and had to deal in. Very, very small 1,000 points, but moves the game along. Holy Honitsu.
Right? What did we open ourselves up to? Dennis with a monster hand potentially on the left. Will he stay closed or will he open? I mean, Michael was so patient, eventually got the Tempai, but it was a little too late. And we've seen that a couple times now. Players extremely patient, looking for value, but they have gotten the win.
I think at this point, Michael does just want points. And currently, sitting nicely in third place, but could always maybe look to be a little bit faster. But I think currently in his standings, he doesn't have a super great shot at promoting, nor is he very close to demoting. So I think his goal is just to stay in the middle, maybe go up if he can, but doesn't want to give any points up unnecessarily.
Yeah, we're gonna have dueling flush hands now. Eric on the right, also aiming for a flush, and the Pinzu gets his south wind, so up to 3 Han now.
Our favorite, not Bakahon.
Dennis also with a 3 hunt, but with a toy chance that looks a little bit stronger. And there is a world where Dennis could get even more. It's not super likely, but there's a small possibility.
Claire making the call for Tanya Nomi as dealer for that 1,500 points. Ishan 10, waiting on the 3-mon 7 pin or 258 so, I believe.
Yeah, this isn't a hand you really want to wait around and see what the rest of the table is doing. You just got to shut these down. A little awkward that she's almost out of Mon tiles, which is the safe suit, but the 2 remaining are the door itself.
That's an interesting call for Eric. This leads me to think he's going to end up Harakatanki, actually, calling from that 2-2-4 shape.
Yeah, this kind of leaves 2 pin and 6 pin as your floating tiles, but you, as you said, could pull an 8 pin and end up on a Tonki.
And that last Haku finally coming out. So now Dennis has that one safe tile. Just not believing that Eric is in Tempai at all.
And suddenly Claire looking at 12,000 points.
All the 2-so are being locked up in players' hands. 1 8-so over in Dennis's. 3 more 8-sos in the pawn. So it really is just this 5-so she's looking for.
Incredible. There's one of them. That's not coming out, I don't think.
No. Oh, there's another one, but also
Danger.
could be used in Dennis's
Danger that
hand.
8-so. It's such a natural cut.
And it comes out.
12,000
Dennis
for
saw
Claire.
he had value. That was the 1-4-so Tempai for Dennis as well.
Yeah, and of course, there was that long pause before dropping it. He knew it didn't look great. But in that spot, what else are you meant to do? Give up Tempai and play your 1 safe tile? Even if you suspect it's a so wait, it could be 2-5-8 so, it could be 3-6, 3-6 so. The only thing it can't really be is the 4 so, or any of the terminal tiles. And I don't think Dennis had much other option other than jamming there. And Claire's going to pick up, steal away first place as a result.
That is painful because, when you see that and you're like, this has a high chance of dealing in, but you still you got to push because you also have the value.
This leads to a situation where Claire is the only player over 30,000 points. Will be relevant perhaps at the end of the game, but Dennis is going to fight back here. Slams a Richie Nomi, waiting on the 3 pin.
Kanchan, we see 3 in players' hands, only 1 in the wall, but Claire's hand doesn't seem like necessarily using the 3 pin, so that might come out should she get better shapes in other areas.
If she gets good shapes and has the value worth fighting for, maybe we'll see that come out. It will be Michael instead to toss it. Michael had Yakuhai Door too, so certainly understandable to jam there. Only 1,300 point penalty plus the Homba, so definitely felt like the EV was in your favor when you see that inexpensive hand.
Definitely breathing a sigh of relief that he didn't drop in dealing to a Mangan and drop to 4th place. But now it will be Isle's turn, Eric's turn, to try and make up some points here on his last dealership. We are running through this game. We've had a couple of Renshan, but they've all been very speedy.
Yeah, not by going to the draw, so usually those hands are a little bit faster, and I agree, it has been pretty speedy in this one, despite the delay we had getting started. Eric, maybe speedy with his hand too, already 2 away from Tempai. shapes leave a bit to be desired.
9-9 Manzu. Yeah. Continue.
On the right, Michael similarly approaching Tempai. However, we'll be relying on drawing around the central floating 4-mon or 5-pin. Across the table, Dennis with perhaps a Tanyao in the near future, but is going to look to slam Ricci regardless of whether it's Tanyao or not. And on the left, Claire looking to fill that Penchant 1-2 so in with a Dora. And there are 3 Dora. Sorry, all 4 of the 3 so Dora are in the wall.
There's one of them as we speak of it. Claire builds that 3-so penchant.
Impeccable timing. And that was her worst shape, so she's actually looking really strong to find a Tempai in the very near future.
Dennis's hand across the way. Again, that 1-2 penchant is his weakest shape, but he also has. You could look at this as 6 blocks with that 5-6, 5-6-6-6 shape.
Interesting move. Cutting the 6-mon there, preserving the 6 blocks, as you say, and maybe even setting up a Suji trap. I think most of the time the 2-1 comes out, and it does here, as he finds Ishanten for Ricci Pinhu. Also, Eric improving these shapes as well. If you looked at that pond, would you suspect that there is a potential Itsu and Manzu?
Not at all. And I don't think he expected it either. I think it just kind of came to be. However, that 4-mon pawn does put a damper in his plans.
Yeah, that 5-6 looks pretty good. Now it no longer does.
Also needs a 7, which we know that are in other players' hands. There's 3 of them. 1 left, I believe, in the wall. But that will be Tempai for Claire on the 7-8 Shabo for another Tanya Nobi, deciding she's in first place. Doesn't really want to give other players the chance to catch up to her.
Uh-oh. Reach coming out from Dennis. Could change the math here. 5-8 so, Ricci Pinhu.
It would just be 2,000 on a Ron, but you never know what that Urador is going to give you. And with that Anko of 6-pin, it could be, actually, could it be 1, 2, 3? It could not be the 5, but you never know what that Urador will do.
Dennis certainly hoping, just as he was in the last hand, that he hits all the Ura. Claire hasn't had to try anything too dangerous just yet. If she did need to fold, perhaps 8-mon, 8-mon would be the safest route. Could try to target the 6-mon, which is Genbutsu. 7-mon as a discard is now Suji, and she will make the play.
Changes a Tempai. Oh, there's an 8. Probably will not come out for Michael. No, that does not.
Yeah, and Eric's just
and
out.
And now Claire. Yep.
Oh, and you're right, Claire doesn't trust the 4-pin.
Claire is out, so.
If only that 7-pin had come out sooner, she might have been able to give it a try, but that is not the case. We will go to Ryukyoku in the draw. It is just Dennis Tempai, so collects 1,000 points from the other players, and will send us into South 3 with a stick in the middle.
I'll not getting able to make the most of that dealership as he wanted, but again, there's still 2 more hands, and only 6,000 points away from third place, so anything can happen.
A big deal is this dealership for Michael. We might be frozen. I'm going to just take a quick reset of perspective and see if that fixes things. Indeed. So Michael in third place at 24-1 is Eric's direct competition in this game, and he's got the dealership, a big chance to make something happen. The Dora White Dragon has just come out across the table from Claire. So one might expect Claire to be pretty close to Tempai. And she is.
Claire also has the pair of red dragons, and in her position, as we have noticed earlier when she was going for that Tanya Nomi Tempai, she just wants the game to end right now with her in first place, so she will likely take that red dragon as soon as it comes out from any player.
Eat.
Yeah, even considered calling that 5-pin, but we're going to see the Ricci instead from Eric, a fast Tempai. Ricci Sanshoku, 5-6-7, waiting 1-4 so.
Incredible. Claire just passed both the 1 and the 4 so great timing on her part.
Ooh.
Oh, but there is a chase Ricci from Dennis.
Dennis probably wasn't.
Not quite Sanchoku,
Mm-hmm.
but it is the Shabo for the 3-mon, 8-mon.
Oh,
Oh,
Ipatsumo.
sorry. Holy, sorry, it was 6-9 so. 6-9-mon.
Yeah,
And the
Des
Ipatsumo.
probably wasn't too optimistic, but he filled a penchant to get that Tempai and just slammed it and immediately hit. So that means that we've got an absolute battle for first place on our hands. Eric, 39-8. Claire, 41-4. A gap of 1,600 points between the two. And Dennis has the dealership.
This is exactly where Claire did not want to be 1 hand ago.
She was trying to shut it down, and Dennis is coming too strong with its sumos. Early Richi's just too powerful. We'll see if he can pull off the comeback, though. Claire with a very strong hand on the right. Already one away from Tempai. A Kutsuki, or Sticky, one away. Just needs to stick something onto that 8-pin or that 3-mon that's floating around. She could even have 3-sided Richi P Fudora 1.
Oh, decides to take that 1-2 Kanchan, deciding to go for speed over potential better play, but that sorry, not better play. Different shapes for that 3-6-9 Samenchan over on the Pinzu, hoping to get that 7, but ends up improving the shape immediately with that 4-pawn draw.
Yeah, that's something, again, a very classic Claire move to look for the improvement. And I feel like most players probably just slam the Richi, but Claire finds the better shape, gets the Tsumo as well on the Pihu, and will confirm first place. A big result.
It was also extremely important that she maybe preserve her Richi stick, because that would have actually put her within 500 points of Dennis if she threw her Richi stick in.
Yeah, it is very, very interesting the way that panned out. Claire will take the first in the plus 29.1. Dennis plus 13.5 for a strong second. That's going to be very relevant on the lower side of the standings. Michael, minus 13.7 in third. And Eric, minus 28.9 in the fourth place. However, as we update our standings, Claire, the big winner, moves into the promotion zone with 7 games remaining. Eric's
looking to get into A1. Very exciting.
back into A1 for the nth time. A1 always scary when Claire is there. And honestly, all these players that are up in the top portion are going to be scary to play against. If these standings are the final standings.
Exactly. And there's 7 more games to play for Claire and Eric.
Okay, well, I think Eric, they went immediately into the next game, perhaps on time constraints.
So, well, here we go.
Take a second for us to boot that up. In fact, we might be coming into this game late.
You just went right to it.
I feel like that's an East Coast thing. Time's precious.
It is 9 p.m. for those in the East Coast.
Each.
Oh, I heard a Richi.
Getting close. Oh, you've insider information.
We have the Tempai already on the right for Michael as we hop into this game. It is Richi Pinku. Potential Sanshoku on the 6-pin.
Want to quickly talk about Dennis. Last game, his second place was enough to get him from 22nd place up to 19th place. So now he is at the top of the relegation zone, looking to fully get out of it. Eric was in 8th place, now is in 10th place, but only negative 1.3. So again, looking for a positive score here.
Yeah, it's going to be tough for Dennis to do anything about this Richi, though, on the first dealership. I will say there is another A2 table that's playing right now. As we look at the cut line, ID is playing in that game as we speak. And Julian, who's in the slight negatives right below Michael, is in that game. And so there is a lot of A2 action going on right now. The standings will be changing pretty drastically, I feel, over the course of this evening.
Dennis having 2 tiles that would deal into Michael, that 6-pin, 9-pin, hoping to get that 8-pin to fill, so don't need to discard either of them. But the 9 pin is really being held by Eric on the left, having an Anko that can be used either as an Anko or as a pair, depending on if he draws a 6 pin.
Yep, there's the 8 pin. You could chi if you feel like the 7 so will go through. You also can play the 5 pin for free. Oh, we'll go 6, 7, 8 and drop the 9. That will deal into the cheap side, though. Richie Pinhu only. And no Uda either, so Dennis escaping without paying too much. Only one weight in the wall for Michael, as you noted. Almost all those tiles held. Will send us into Michael's dealership in East 2. Pretty average high pipe. Lone door 9 pin in hand. We'll see if that gets used after the 7 draw. Also, Tanya potential as well. So some branching paths here potentially for Michael depending on what gets drawn. The right, Claire has a hand that can be opened. The tuned pair. However, not much else to back that up. And even the flush chance is somewhat limited.
I am curious if Claire will pawn that tune. Last game, when she was pretty firmly in first place, she was doing quick hands just to try and get the game over with. But now that she is not in that situation, will she kind of hold that first tune, waiting for the second, maybe hoping to get into Ricci before that? Michael, dealer here, pulled some really good tiles, actually. Pulled the 6 pin to extend that 6-8-9 shape, and then also pulled the 7 pin. So filling that. And an Anko of 1 pin over there on the left for Dennis. Pretty good shapes, I believe 2 Shanten.
Yeah, and even could think about Chitoi if we consider the pair's perspective, even one away from Tempai, although I'm sure Dennis would prefer to have something other than 7 pairs as the output here. Michael, though, had pulled in the second door and now has fantastic shapes. Pinhu Ishanten with door 2.
Each.
I think forcing Toy Toy, looking for one more pawn. But it will be Michael first to Tempai, waiting on 4-7 so.
And you might regret that pawn from Dennis's perspective.
Draw one of the 7 so's can be integrated into her hand as long as she cuts that Chun, which is her plan, and now has the option of going Tanya.
Options are good. Claire can call. 8 so is safe.
Chi.
He also has an easy way out by going Tanya, cutting 1 pin, 1 pin, 1 pin, which we know is safe.
It's a long way back to Tempai, but there are 5 draws left, so it is theoretically possible.
Beautiful, beautiful tiles for Michael, just not the one that he needs.
That's incredible. Michael has 4 weights in the wall. Make that 3.
Dennis just pulled one more 7, decides he's still going for this Toy.
Yeah, I
But
found them.
Claire now also Tempai, 4-7 pin, let's not forget.
Oh my goodness.
Oh,
Don't.
and just as I said it, I'm sorry, Michael, but Claire will take the snipe away. 2,000 points, just Tanya plus 1 Dora, I believe.
Yeah, despite having the advantage, the early Ricci, the great weight, a fantastic number of weights in the wall, Claire snipes it away, steals the Ricci stick away, and picks up the Tanyao, and gets back into the lead here at 3-2.
You know, and this goes back to the conversation, like how early of a Ricci is a good Ricci. What is a good Ricci? Because sometimes when you get to these leagues like A2, A1, when someone Ricci's, everyone is kind of just protecting their points and they'll be folding right away. So you're relying on that sumo, so you're also figuring out how many weights do I have in the wall and what's the likelihood that I can draw this myself.
Yeah, and honestly, I feel like if Michael had the foresight to see how many weights the wall, he would absolutely slam that Ricci. So it just got a bit unfortunate there. We do see an interesting chi, though, from Dennis across the way.
Lock in that Honitsu right away, but they have the Dora too. So I think this is a value play right here. Honitsu, Dora 2, maybe Haku, maybe even Itsu if he could slide down. Lots of value here.
Going for it all here with the 3-mon cut.
Dennis' wind is also west, so we could see an extra Yaku in that pawn as well.
Yakuhai, Yakuhai, Dora, 3.
1
Koitsu, we're looking at 7 Han, potentially.
Oh, but there is another early Ricci from Michael. Turn 6.
3-sided weight, 147 pin, Richi Pinshu. Dennis
Knowing that Dennis can't use any of the Pinsu.
has got one of each
Now
already.
has the option of going back though, because he has the Hakudora High. Haku Yaku High. There we go.
Yeah, we'll see if that, like, Michael's a bit vulnerable here. He can't use the Dora, although that's a 4 pin. Yeah, there's the Dora, and I think
We'll
we're
hold
oh,
it.
no Pong.
Doesn't have a pair. So maybe Dennis is intentionally using it as a pair for right now.
Says
Until he can safely pass this for oh Tempai on the 2 cell
4
will come out 4 pin.
Yeah, must be pushed. No Uda again, so Dennis taking fights that are probably correct, dealing in, and not getting punished that hard for it.
Claire's turn for the Sozu Honitsu, maybe even Shinitsu here.
Yeah, collecting them on the left. Eric, as our dealer, really hasn't had much to say in this game. It's been either Dennis or Michael getting the early Ricci and Claire sniping a few points away, but this could be his turn. 3 for 5 Sancho in the works. He shot that already with a Dora. Ooh, do you break? No, we'll keep the shapes. If it's early enough, you can consider cutting the 9-pin, 7-pin for a Tanyao shift. But his dealer efficiency is king. And Eric, it'll be interesting here. If the 3-pin comes out, sorry, the 3 Mon were to come out, there is a world where Eric could just cheat that for a Tempai, Sancho Ghidorah 1. Oh, but draw it yourself!
1
So easy. Now just waiting on the 8-pin Tonki. Or sorry, 8-pin Kanchan.
Now takes the slam here. Ricci, Sancho Ghidorah 1. Already Mangan.
I think again, a very good fight. Eric does need the points right now.
I feel like as non-dealer, a lot of times people argue for a Dama or 5,200 points. As dealer, that's 7,700 points, which is okay, especially when you can improve your weight, but
ポン
also slamming directly
For
for the
that
12k.
12,000 points, it's very tempting. I know like that 340 is kind of everyone's like threshold. Do I Dama? Do I Ope? Do I Ricci? But I think from a position standpoint in the league, you know, he still has 7 games to go. He wants to make sure he gets as many points as possible in every game. So if he does end up having a bad session or a session where, you know, someone just gets very, very lucky and just has the wall and the flow with them, that, you know, you can tank that essentially.
Absolutely. And we're seeing Claire making an attempt to challenge this. And so Suji, she has a path into Tanya.
ドン
Oh, but the 8-pin from Dennis is going to come out. And going to get a big surprise here. It's actually Mangan.
No one thinks it's going to be Mangan, especially when there's only one Dora there.
Only one Dora. It's a Kanchan weight, so you're not even getting Pinshu. But the Sanchoku is the way to value, and it is big value for Eric, who now dominates with 42,000 points. Continues the dealership as well.
Rewarded for not rewarded for not dominating, actually.
Yeah. Well, I guess he drew the 6 Mon later, so it would have been on Samenchan for Pinshu. But you know what? Rewarded.
We'll just say rewarded.
Right.
Let's just
Who knows
it to
what
him.
happens if he hasn't reached? Perhaps someone else gets to build their hand freely and beats him out to the punch. So maybe a call happens that wouldn't have happened otherwise. He doesn't even draw the 6-pin. You never know. And he won the hand. So with the power of hindsight, I'll say that was absolutely correct.
Hindsight is 2020 after all.
Eric with some really interesting choices now. A lot of pairs and a pair of Dora included among those pairs. So kind of curious to see which direction this hand goes.
Ankos. I think this could just be a San Anko. maybe even Dama. Sananko Dora 2, that's already your Mangon right there.
Yeah, with the chance to upgrade to Suanko as well, I feel the same. On the right,
This is the situations where it's like, sometimes you have hands where like Sananko is truly the best I can do. But in this case, when your incompleted shape is one of the Ryamen, I think
yes.
Suanko dreams are very tempting.
We've got Ishanten on the right for Dennis, looking to slam Eirichi, hopefully on the Shabo so we can snipe the south. On the left, Claire has a lot of sevens. I don't know if Doko is her plan. It's not Doko, but hold that thought. Another pair for Eric. Suako Ishanten.
Suanko might happen. We might see a Yakuman. We have one man across the way in Michael's hand.
Yeah, one discarded as
But
well,
one...
so...
Oh, shoot. So the 1-mon is dead. Oh, there's a 3-mon, so it fits so nicely in Michael's hand, that 1-2-3 shape.
There's
But
still...
I don't see any more.
Yeah, still
So
one
one in the
Tremon,
wall.
160. That's not going to deal in. Dennis called for the south. Also can draw the 9 so and get Chanta as well. But needs to draw it.
Kuikai is not allowed in this league. Oh, but it will be the Ricci from Michael.
Oh, this is
on
hilarious.
the 5-6 Shabo.
He can see that the 6 is dead, and he's still taking this Ricci anyway because the 5 pin is just so hard to use.
Claire. 3-mon in the wall. So Suanko dreams a little bit dead.
This Ricci is forcing everyone off. Eric back to Tempai though. Ipeko is the option. Dama or Ricci is the question. He's absolutely going to fight. We'll take the Dama. I like the...
When you're so close. Oh, but there it is.
I love the fight here from Eric, jamming a 5-mon and gets the Tsubo for Mangon. Ipeko Dora 2 alongside the Tsubo.
You can't lose that kind of value when you have that Dora pair in your hand as dealer. You have to fight. And absolutely was rewarded.
Incredible stuff here. Eric absolutely running up this dealership.
What he needs 88 points to get into promotion range right now. Currently, with I believe it's the plus 15.5 Uma here, we are at plus 40.
Yes, and if he stays the only player above 30,000 points as we get to the later stage of the game, will be plus 45, but a lot can happen in between now and then. We have Michael across the way opening up twice, once for the Yakuhai West, which is his seat wind, and also the north as well. Maybe even turning this into a flush with Dora?
Dora Tonki is always an option.
That's absolutely...
Especially when it's Yakuhai.
A value
Hard
option.
to use if you don't have a pair.
That's a win. Oh, he already dropped the east. I got a little...
Excited?
I was daydreaming a little bit, but doesn't seem... Oh, no.
Oh, the backfire.
We're only going to be really sad, really, really sad if the east also shows up in hand.
All right, that was...
I'm so sorry, Michael. I didn't mean to do that to you.
Nathaniel, what are you doing?
I'm so sorry.
You're not supposed to say this.
It's the curse.
I'll be really, really sad.
I'm actually a little surprised he doesn't call the Forso and aim for the Dora Tonki with the Honitsu, but...
I think you depressed him too much.
That's true. Well, it's not going to stop Dennis from slamming a Ricci here. We are going to have the Tempai from Michael as well, jamming the Dora. And it's 3-6 mon versus 2-5 pin.
The 3-mon being Takame for Dennis for Ipeko. I also want to call out some interesting decisions made by Isle, because they had a 5-5 or a 5-6-6-7-7-8-8-9 shape, and then decided to cut from the 5 first when they got the 9. Like, this is big brain play here to get this Ipeko that I did not even notice.
It will be the Michael win. So, okay, points salvaged. It wasn't 32,000, but you know what? Prevented Dennis from getting the win, so that's something. It will be Dennis in the dealer's seat, and got a lot of work to do here to come back from 8,400 points. This is not a bad high pie to start with, though. Got a triplet of the
I also
North.
wanted to see a sushi. I can't believe you did this to us, Nathaniel. I blame you.
I
solely
accept I
blame
accept
you.
responsibility as the commentator. It is my my job to provide blessing or provide the curse, and unfortunately, I brought the curse.
Dennis's hand progressing very nicely, having now a 2 ramens and a kanchan, a floating 7 to change that kanchan should it be needed.
Michael looking pretty nice on the right. Just needs a door. If he could find a 4-pin, that hand would be absolutely unlocked. Across the way,
Will
Claire.
he upgrade from one kanchan to another kanchan? And does decide to take it?
Claire with the nice Tanyao shapes across the way. Might hold the 2-pin. No, we just can't get Doko here. It's just too hard to not to give up on the Dora 4-pin. Hopefully she draws some 3s though.
No. If she draws another 2-pin, I think it might be possible. It is the funny play.
It is the funny play. It would involve dropping like probably the Dora though, because even if you go 4-4, you still have to have a pair somehow. Look, I'm here for the Doko. I want to see it. Dennis though, here for the Ricci. He is Ishanten and has really great chances. Trying to use both Dora though. That might slow him down.
Difficult considering he literally just dropped the 7 sorry, the 7 pin the turn before. But it will be Tempai for Eric on the 1-mon 3-mon Shabo, just for 2,000 points. Hatsudora.
Oh, hello, Chumon. 5-pin out, so Ishanten for Claire. Perfect Ishanten. And Tempai and Dennis will slam, cutting the Dora. Respectable. Gave it a look and said, you know what? I don't have time. Slam the Ricci.
Michael immediately draws the Epots tile, has an Anko of them, deciding what is safe here. Deciding with an 8-so. Maybe looking at the early discard, 7-so discard from Dennis, and then the 5 the Suji. But never mind, it's another Epot Sumo for Dennis.
I feel like Dennis has hit at least 3 or 4 Epot Sumo in this series so far. The first one of this game, clearly, but a big one, a needed one for 12,000 points, and suddenly Dennis is back in the game. Eric's on top, but the battle for second is anyone's game.
The Epot Sumo brought that from, like, I believe, like 1,000 or 2,000 all to 4,000 all. Wow.
Dennis, now this is also a classic Dennis move, the Epot Sumo or the Just Sumo technology. This is how Dennis qualified for the 2025 Tokyo WRC, was through the World Ricci League bonus seat. And in the finals, he hit a monster sumo to Gyakuten into first place to claim his seat. So huge sumo powers from Dennis. And he keeps showing how it's done.
You know, who needs other people to deal in for you when you can just sumo? Also on Epots.
Epot's a nice little bonus. I don't know if he's going to have much chance in this hand, though. I'm looking at these shapes and thinking maybe the best odds are with the 789 Sanchoku. You could open for that, but that relies on finding the 7-so door indicator, which is already visible to us twice. And, well, to Dennis twice, and we can even see a third one and locked away in Eric's hand. He's going to try it, though.
Does open call could... Actually, I don't know. I was going to say maybe Chanta as a backup option, but that's a bit far.
Yeah, I was actually a little surprised to see the North come out afterwards. That felt like the pair of the hand.
Really sure what the play is, but obviously Dennis has a plan, so we shall be here to see it through. Is that Tempai across the way for Claire? It is on the 3-pin. Hatsunomi.
Yeah, Dennis might not have time to see this plan through if Claire gets there first. 3 of the 3-pin are in the wall, so lots of opportunity. this point.
Sure what the plan is for Dennis. I'm to be
Honestly,
quite
I think it's
honest.
just K-Tut. I don't think there's much else that can happen here.
3-pin drawn for Eric. Does decide to hold it as the pair since his hand had no pair, and it was cementing his weakest shape of that 1-3 Conchan.
Yeah, well, feels like Eric is going to try to play for Tanyao here. The 7-mon has come out twice without a call, so he's got some other ideas. That 8-mon certainly helps.
Each.
We have the Ricci 4-7 pin for Michael. His push.
Tanya Dora. Ooh. And if Dennis was looking for an excuse to fold, he's found one.
She was accidental and he was trying to figure out what to do next. That is also always a potential when you're playing online Mahjong.
Yeah, it came out so quickly too that it definitely felt more likely to be a misclick. Understandable.
And draw
Sumo.
the
Sumo, reach Sumo Tanyao. 1, no Uda, but that doesn't matter. Michael's got the big Mongon jumping into second place over 30k. Yeah, on the topic of misclicks, in my most recent series, I accidentally misclicked cutting the Dora Hatsu, which got immediately called by the dealer. And,
oh no.
that's what sent me from first place to second place in that game.
In the league entire. Oh no.
Misclicks happen.
Misclicks absolutely happen.
Hopefully Michael doesn't misclick this hand. It looks super strong. It looks like it could be Richi, Itsu, Dora 1, or a Mongon, 12,000 points. Can anyone fight this? I'm not seeing Dora around the rest of the table. That's a great 2-mon draw for Dennis, though. He's probably got the best chance. Richi Pinhu.
Even potential Itsu chances if we get a 7 or a 5 or a 4.
Oh, there's a 4, but
takes
says...
the Ryangkan.
Yeah, probably aiming for Tanyao Pinhu. Trying to pair up.
Absolutely agree.
4, 6, or 8-mon, but hopefully 6 or 8-mon for the Tanyao.
Still trying to make that shift to Honitsu. Close Honitsu is worth quite a bit. Ihan. And then Claire, oh sorry, that's not Claire, that's Eric. Also maybe looking to go Honitsu or just fill in shapes. 6-pin floater is pretty good.
Yeah, and Eric, I feel like it's pretty standard for him to play passively in this type of situation where he's got a big lead. And so holding a lot of honor tiles and aiming for a flush is sort of fits that goal. If you draw really well, you can gain a lot of points, but if you don't draw super well, then you can just back away from the hand. It does look like he is finding his way to a normal tempi, though.
I think it was unfortunate. I think the plan was to hold the 6-pin for the 5-pin Dora acceptance. Still possible with the North pair, but did end up pairing the 6-pin.
Yeah, for that reason, I really like this 8-so cut. He still can use the 5-pin, but can still hedge the Itsu. And we will have a recheat from Dennis, who did find the Tanyao.
2 5-pin, always good to be waiting on Dora's shape to get the potential extra value. And as we know, the strat for Dennis is just Tetsumo, so we'll see if he can do it again.
I did miss out on the Ipatsumo. The powers may be weakening, and Michael, the dealer, is going to chase here. Richi Dora 1 with a 5-so, 8-so. Wait. 8-so has come out 3 times. Oh, there it is.
Oh,
Dennis was
should
just
have waited
waiting.
1 turn.
Yeah, Dennis was just waiting for Michael to Richi before finding the Tsumo.
Just to take that 1,000 extra points from Michael, putting him in 3rd place, but only 3,000 points away from Michael now. So much closer than he was before.
Yeah, Dennis has picked some
and
really...
he did find the Dora.
Dennis has picked some really nice moments to fight, and just seems to find the winner on the expensive side more frequently than not.
There's also been some really good play by Dennis by pushing into Ricci's, but when he himself had a lot of value. And so did end up dealing an early game to 2 Ricci's, but they were both on the cheaper side, 2,000 and 2,600, I believe,
Yeah.
when he had Hanemon potential. So
Claire now finds herself in last place, but this hand has some opportunities. Looks like it could turn into a Tanya, and that means it's openable, callable. We'll see if she gets there open or if she can draw what she needs herself.
But Eric is sensing that Dennis has a little bit of flow to him right now and is trying to put a stop to that, calling for that Hatsu right away, having Wendora saying, I want to take my first and like leave here. Oh, but Claire finding a great Anko in the 8-mon, kind of committing to this Tanyao shift, now Ishanten.
And it's tough here because you're Ishanten and a player's open, so you're somewhat incentivized to win the hand and repeat as dealer, but this is a big value opportunity, so I think she might pass the first chi that would give Tempai and try to draw it herself.
Tanya Dora 1 is good for dealer. It's still 2,900 points, but if she can do a Ricci, that could potentially bring 2,900 points up to 12,000.
If she wanted that, she's not getting it because Dennis pulls the 8-so away, and now she might have to call.
Is Tempai.
Oh, just slam.
On the 254 pin. So one of those fancy weights, but it will be Claire. Maybe waiting for this Changkan opportunity.
Was that the strategy? If you're Dennis,
I think why not?
Can you con here? 3 7-so have come out, so it actually doesn't. The 8-so doesn't look that bad. I just situationally doesn't feel right to con, but you never know. Oh, just sumo. That was right. I forgot Dennis's strategy here.
And sumo's on his own 3.
He already had
5 mon.
Actually, that was his opportunity to con, right?
He could have conned. I don't know what he was doing. Shouldn't have taken the win. Should just con. Con for the content.
Absolutely, especially when dealer is in Ricci. All right, jokes aside, we do have Eric back in the dealer seat. South 4, so all last. If he just goes to a draw, he will be first place, but he also wants to make sure that he's collecting as many points as possible because, again, this is game the 7th game remaining, so still
I do want to
point out positives.
I do want to point out that we have Dennis at 28,300 points, and we have Michael at 28,400 points. It is now gone from a 12,000 point difference to a 100 point difference in South 4. And we also have Eric here trying to keep everyone under 30,000. So, quite a conundrum we have on our hands. And Claire just trying to get anything to get out of 4th place.
It looks like her plan is going to be a flush, cutting away from the Monzu, the Pinzu. Oh, but that's a Dora. Hold on a second. Recalculating, is a Ricci, Tsumo, Dora, Ura enough? It is. All right. We'll keep the Pinzu.
Oh, and my Eric's flush potential also has been derailed, drawing that 3-so penchant. It's so annoying when you you have all these shapes for a flush, and then you have this one really awkward shape you're playing to cut, and then it just fails, and you're like, well, plans must be averted. I'm not cutting a full shape.
Yeah, it's less annoying, I suppose, than starting to cut that shape and then drawing what would have filled it immediately afterwards. But still, definitely on the lower end of things you're excited about. And by the way, that's a Dora Pon from Claire.
How did she get another one? What?
This is the Mongon that she needs. So
this is also the South Atozuke call.
Yeah, let the first South go by, and now needs to find the second one. In the meantime, Dennis is slamming a Ricci. It's Junchan.
7-so no me. 7-so only.
Only wait, and it's a little bit disguised here. That 6-so came out before the Dora, I believe, followed by the Hakurichi. So you'd expect the weight to be better than a Penchon, but Junchan's about the only way where the 7-so deals in. Or Sanchoku. And I think Michael believes it too.
He called. I saw the pause. I was like, "Oh, Michael's gonna call this." It makes him tempai on the 3-6 pin as well. Could have called the 5-6-7, cutting the 4, but didn't believe in that.
Oh, but it was such a nice trap by Dennis. And just looking at the board again, yeah, 2 6s visible. Sotogawa trap. It's just too strong. Michael had a chance to shut it down and get over 30,000 points with a win. So I absolutely do agree with the play of Michael there to try to chase it down. It was just even better play by Dennis.
Claire not able to get her way out of 4th place, and we have seen a return to normal, or a return to as it was, with Claire in 7th and Eric in 8th place with that play. Eric taking a 1st while Claire takes a 4th. And then Dennis slowly building his points up, thought he was going to take a 4th and just had some 3 massive hands back to back to back, and is now plus 11.3. Did end up getting above that 30,000, so Eric was not able to take those bonus 5 points.
All right. Well, that is 2 games complete of this A2 series. We will perhaps have the opportunity to continue or swap to a new table. I will say this back and forth at this table means that everything's just about where we started, with the exception of Dennis being a higher than that minus 70. I believe he's scored 2 second places. And Korak mentioning in chat here, we've got games complete from the other A2 series, which means the cut line is currently minus 44.
That is crazy. That's like a very, very unforgiving cut line.
We have seen some. It's been a long time since we've seen a cut line this low, and it would be absolutely nuts if that's how it stays. But Joe, who had escaped trouble previously, the line is catching up. 43.9 is no longer safe. Oliver as well, who is in the clubhouse with 24 out of 24 games complete at minus 35.8, seemed to be fine, seemed to be doing okay, and now might have to sweat a little bit.
Christine, who just won a auto table at this recent tournament 2 weekends ago, also having 4 games left, but first on the relegation. So again, anything to try and get above that. Dennis having, I also believe, 2 more games or 4 more games.
I believe Dennis has 2 games left of this series and then 4 more games of the Session 6 series. So lots of opportunities to catch up.
Lots of chances.
And even Michael has to sweat now at minus 35.7. Is in striking range of dropping into that zone.
And unfortunately, it does look like it will be a guaranteed demotion for Kenyon, who won this season a few seasons ago. I don't remember exactly what season she won, but well, it does prove to you that no one is safe in A1 forever, and things can happen. 24 games is not a lot. So it is a lot for a league, but some leagues go for an entire year before they make those cut lines. So we play fast leagues, but also very high movement.
Yeah, it's actually really interesting. Her deal-in percent is quite low. Her deal-in average is the lowest in the league. And the problem is the hands are not coming together for Kenyon. But you said guaranteed. I don't know. Kenyon in Session 6 does some magical things. That's why whenever I used to play against her in the A1 division, I would always be extremely wary of whatever she put together because of the Kenyon magic in Session 6. She could pull together a plus 120 and make things close.
She will need a plus 136 at the moment to get out of relegation. So it is possible for first places. Hasn't been finding them yet, but doesn't mean she can't.
All right. Well, we are moments away from one of our other tables being live. And it'll just take me a moment to swap around some names for that. Berlin, Max, Carl, and Andrew. I believe there's a lot at stake in these games too. We'll get to take a peek at the standings temporarily as that boots up. Yeah, we've got Carl, 5th place overall in division, in the promotion zone temporarily, but has 4 games to play. Max at plus 34.2, trying to climb into that zone. Has a few games to play. Andrew hoping to finish the season positive, and Merlin hoping to escape relegation. So all of these players are basically in the same spot as the game we just finished. However, the margins are a little bit wider in this division.
Yeah, having promotions at about plus 110 and relegations at negative 152 is a bit more similar to what we're used to seeing when we're looking at regulation lines, not minus 44.
All right, we do have the game underway here in the B2 division. Merlin will be our first dealer. Max sitting to the right. Carl across the table. Andrew on our left. Just thinking about the history for the players at the table. Merlin, I remember, joined the league not too long ago. Has been on a steady climb. A little bit of trouble here, though, in the B2 division. It's been rough going, but hopefully he can hang on. Max on the right also has been on a relatively steady climb here in B2. And we don't know how many bonus promotion spots there'll be in the B2 division. They are typically more in the lower divisions than the upper divisions, but it's impossible to say until the very end of the season exactly how many there will be. But as long as you're positive, you have hope, and the closer you are to those arrows, the better chance you have. Across the way, Carl has...
does. Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say Carl has been actually playing a lot of really strong mahjong as of late. I've noticed his games in particular have looked really good. I'm not surprised to see him here in the 5th spot overall.
Also, really nice shapes for Carl over there. A wide Ryan Khan, a Ryan Min, and a 677 that could end up going up on the 1-so or the 7-so. So super, super wide Tushan 10.
Whereas the Green Dragon, that has come out a couple times. So it seems that will not be a factor in this hand. It's just the Yaku that matter, and we're going to see a Ricci from Max. It's the first player temp by 3-6-0 for Ricci only. Although, that's a lot of 9s.
Chi.
It is a lot of 9s, worth a whole 8 fu, and also, or 16 for the double of it.
Perhaps some Uda-san chances. We did see the Chi immediately from Carl, breaking the Apatsu, and also playing for Tanya. Able to cut 1-so, maybe squeak his way in. He has some pretty safe Suji tiles, 3 mon, 7-so, to try to get there. Could even Chi this for Tenpai, but lets it go.
Ooh, does draw a 3-so, which would have been the sumo tile for Max if that call was not made earlier.
That's a good point. Carl pulling the winner away. +1 to the crew that likes to break Ipatsu.
Beach.
Oh, and this will be Tenpai for Andrew on the 6-9 mon. 9 is pretty much dead, but he doesn't want the 9 anyway, since 6 would guarantee Tanya.
Solid chase. We'll see if anyone finds that 6 mon. Only 1 left in the wall. Uh-oh, that's Tenpai. Can you jam the 8-so? No, Carl will back away.
Incredible play from Carl. Great read on his part. 9-so is safe, so will not deal in, and will take the 1,500 points of no 10.
Yeah, having watched Carl play when he first joined the league, he was one of the players that had extremely low deal-in rates. Just always seemed to find a way to dodge the deal. I think his first season, he had something like a 4% deal-in.
Oh my, that is extremely, extremely low.
And I think it's honestly a good thing that this season we see it at +12. It means that his win rate is probably increasing a lot too. But if you look at that average, his average deal-in amount, sub 3,000. 2,861. I wonder if he's dealt into a Mongon once this season.
I guess he just knows when he has to fight, or he only fights when he has value. Because if he has all the value, then what does the other person have for him to deal into?
Absolutely. And I really like the way that Carl's game has evolved. We do have, of course, our dealer Max looking for the Ricci pin 2. Ishantet already with a 2 pin or a 4 pin will get the Pinhu. But if you draw the 5 mon, the Dora, you can also slam that as well for Ricci +1.
Lots of options here. Can't even wait for that 6-pin upgrade because he already did drop the 7. So you really want to draw either that 2 or 4 pin for Tenpai. But the wall will give you what the wall will give you.
Right? You just hope that is what you're looking for.
There's a
Each.
Karagiri from Carl, and now we have a Ricci from Merlin, waiting on, I believe, the 5/8, so 8 so will be Ipeiko.
Yeah, we see time freeze for Carl as he decides, what is my best path? There is no information showing on the board from Merlin.
Making a smart choice, cutting one of his pairs, the 8 pin. Sorry, not the 8 pin, sorry, the 8 mon, but still potentially keeping Tenpai or Ishanten, maintaining Ishanten.
Yeah, there's, again, almost no information showing, so at that point, your best route to escaping the hand might be just to win it. We'll see how it goes down. Max finds the save 9 so, and still Ishanten.
Way the 9 so pair and just got it back on this on the 5 so deal in tile. So now there are no more 5 so's left in the wall. It would have to come out for one of these players.
Yeah, Carl has a Tenpai on 2 mon or 5 mon. With a 5 mon draw, you absolutely fight this. I'm just wondering if Carl will fight if the pin shape fills first. A lot harder to cut a tile near the Dora.
I'm not thrilled with that 7 so discard, which makes that 8 so very loose in Max's hand. But it looks like he is full folding, so...
Yeah, Max, another one of
Crisis
those
averted.
players that tends to be very defensive. I'm quite confident that whenever that 7 so comes out, that's a sign of the full, fold. Hello, Dora.
So we all know it's not Dora.
Yeah, Andrew considered that pull for a while. Toy Toy Dora 3, something along those lines. Tanya as well.
There's one more 8 so left in the wall. Maybe we can find... actually, no. There's no more 8 so's left in the wall because we have one in Merlin's hand. So he is drawing dead.
And everyone folding as well. It looks like we will be going to a draw here. Ryukyoku with only 1 player Tenpai. Good defense. Everyone eventually figured out the danger suit. It will be 3,000 points going to Merlin.
Keeps the game pretty relatively even. You know, Merlin only at 30.5 and our 4th place being at 27.5. So only a 3,000 point difference, and Carl is now in the dealer seat. So let's see what he does.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I think we missed the draw. I think we need to reload. Nintendo sometimes doesn't want us to watch the game. That's okay. We found a way back in. Back to Carl's hand. Wow, this looks pretty nice, especially if you can draw the 2 pin for Sancho a chance.
This does look really promising.
Oh, but hang on a second. I see where all the Dora are.
Each.
All in Andrew's hand, but it doesn't matter because Carl finds the Tenpai first. Ricci's on the 4-7. And Andrew's like, I'm not folding this. I have literally all the value. Except there's another Tenpai.
Yeah, Max calls
On
into Tenpai.
8.
And I think, it's not so much because of the value of his own hand, but rather the 4 Ricci sticks in the middle of the table are worth fighting for at this point, even against dealer Ricci.
When 1,000 becomes 5,000, it's pretty tempting to just
Each.
fight.
Uh-oh.
Oh, and we have a Chase Ricci from Merlin.
5 pin.
I was like, oh, and it's gonna be the sumo for
Don't.
Max, except he did end up cutting the 3-pin pair, and it was the Ipot sumo for Merlin. 2000 Ricci Pot sumo plus all the Ricci sticks in the middle.
Yeah, of course, Merlin. I believe that was Andrew dealing in the 8 pin because Andrew had just found Tempai of his own with Ipeiko Tanya Dora 3 on 3/6 Mon. And that 3 Mon that Max ended up holding was the deal-in tile for that. So Max, when that hand ended, everyone had found a Tempai. They were all holding each other's deal-in tiles. That 8 pin had to filter out, of course, from the player with a Hanuman. And now Andrew finds the dealership. Gonna make a run at pulling that back, hoping for the 7-pin draw. But I'm sure we'll slam any Ricci. Raiders here to cheer on DC player. Perhaps. We'll see how this game goes. Andrew still sitting Ishanten as the dealer. Merlin making progress on the right. Also 2 away from Tempai. Gonna hold on to this Dora for a while and see if we can connect to it, but there, most situations this hand turns into Tanya. Across the way, Max sitting there with 4 pairs, but ideally would find a couple sequences to make this a little bit more natural. On the left, Carl with the Dora pair. That's a 9-pin pair in hand, and 4 pairs also. Difficult to make a Ricci out of this without drawing a couple of 3-so. Maybe deciding about opening it for Toy Toy, but I think it's going to end up being the Chi-Toy play.
Everyone has quite a few pairs. Even Merlin, who only has the 1 pair, is kind of in a weird situation where there's a lot of tiles that he doesn't want to give up, including that 9-pin Dora. However, 9-pin Dora could end up leading to Tanya out if he finds the 5. That's a great pull for Andrew, having that 9-mon pair for a while, then pulling in the 8. Now is headless, so hopefully can find another pair in that 8-9 pin zoo shape.
Yeah, that was a really interesting decision. There is an argument to cut the 8-pin, where you can still wait on the Dora as a Tonki later on, or even draw the Dora for Pinfu. You could also make an alternate plan of just throwing the Dora later for the good 6-9-mon shape. However, this was the widest way to use the Dora, guaranteed. Well, I'm not so sure about the 4-mon cut. Yeah, it takes it back. Says, actually, on second thoughts, I did want that shape. In the meantime, we do have a Tempai on the right from Merlin. Oh, that's not a Tempai. What am I saying? It's potentially Sanchoku, though, 6, 7, 8. Carl on the left has opened up with the Green Dragon, so that's a way to use the door, and we'll get the triplet. Wow, maybe
Incredible.
Maybe Andrew was right. The 6-0 as the pair was actually the way. I didn't think it was going to be, but the wall said otherwise.
Tempai on 7-mon Kanchan, except all the 7-mon are in the wall, so it really needs to find this 5-mon upgrade to have that potential 4-mon weight.
Or even pawn the 1-so. And then play
Or
around.
even pawn the 1-so.
Oh, interesting here. We have the Chi. Andrew is Tempai, but no Yaku, and the 9-pin is dead. So he can swap to whatever he wants. We also have the Chi on the right for Sanchoku Tempai. Can also win on the 6-so, but I believe that is locked away, so only the 7-so realistically can win here.
We do see 3 out, so I believe only 1 left in the wall.
Will we see the opponent in weight change? No.
Really believing in this 7-mon, which unfortunately, unless Max decides to cut 7-mon for some reason, or maybe draws an 8-mon. But I don't see that coming out of his hand anytime soon.
Yeah, not without being Tempai, so it will be 3 players hitting that mark. Dealer gets to repeat, even though we can see where all the 9-pin were on the board. When you're counting whether a hand is a valid tempo or not, you're only considering the tiles that are in your own hand. So, as far as Andrew knew, that 9-pin was still out there somewhere. So he gets to beat tempi and retain the dealership. Early call from Carl here in East 4 repeat 1. Looks like a really fast shutdown hand. Already went away from tempi. On the right, potentially fast as well from Merlin. East triplet in hand, callable, but I believe Merlin might prefer to reachy this.
Andrew has potential for this 5-6-7 Sanchoku, but it's a little bit far with no sixes in sight, so would need to draw a couple of those.
You've caught my attention though. If there's a Sanchoku chance, then you just have to go for it. That's my rule.
I wonder if Andrew sees it, because if he draws the 6, there's also the option to cut the 4 so
C.
and use the 7 so as the pair. So
We'll have to wait and see.
know.
Also, with 2 calls on the left, you might even just consider calling G on the 6 and hoping that you can get there.
And that will be tempai on the left for Carl on the 6-9 mon.
A strong weight. Drew the door as well for a little extra value, potentially. And it feels like a 6-mon might filter out of Merlin's hand. Depends on what's drawn, of course, but...
Yeah, Carl getting it from Merlin would actually be huge because it would put everyone again within that like 10,000 plus minus 10,000 points. Since this would be another 2,000 point hand, Merlin would drop to 39, Carl would go up to 29, and then everyone would be pretty much very close to starting, plus minus a little bit.
Right. Oh, and there's a 9.
There is the 9.
롱.
So we are going to see that
Will come out.
corrected.
Oh, plus the Homba.
Yeah, even closer.
And I believe there was also a Ricci stick in the middle that Carl got to pick up.
That does mean that Merlin, as the dealer, in danger. A monk on Sumo, and Merlin is no longer in first. But not really thinking about that when he has his own hand to aim for. East Palm, 8-pin draw, and already Ishantan.
Wow. Andrew opening for this Atosuke Haku gets it immediately, so no danger of needing to wait. Always a fear of mine when I go Atosuke.
Yeah, even better shapes than the dealer's open hand, so it looks like Andrew could snipe this away. Choice here now from Merlin.
Shape upgrade. I think I would still take that. Even though I double use the 4, I still have the 1 and 7 options, so I think that is a much better wide weight than the 7-mon Pechan.
Oh my goodness, the chi stolen away. Carl aiming for the Tanyao, and now Merlin in danger of dealing in. There's a chance, though, if Carl drops the 2-pin first. Merlin is saved because he needs to use the 5 so as the pair. Who comes out first, 2-pin or 2-mon? It is the 2-pin.
There it is. Merlin is saved by Carl. But there is still this tempai here. 5-8 so.
6 tiles in the wall. Andrew still at an advantage. Versus the 5 tiles for Merlin. That's a good number.
Oh, Anko's up the 1 so max on the right, so that's unlikely to come out.
Carl again in a little bit of danger here if he connects to the 4-pin. That 4 so is a natural discard later. Maybe even right now.
Maybe we'll discard West first.
Is the 4-6 good enough to Sakigiri? He does, and that is going to deal into the dealer for 1,500 points. We will see a repeat.
But that's okay, because it keeps Carl's dealing value underneath 25 or 2,400 points.
Yeah, the average is going down. With that
average
dealing.
is going down.
Merlin, as the dealer, gets to repeat back over 40,000 points.
Keeping everyone below 30k, but just barely.
What do you do in this hand? This is really awkward to play. Maybe even think about a flush.
I think the
Pairs?
closest person to a flush is Max on the right, having four non-Sozu tiles, but they are all either a Kanchan or Penchan. So looking for shape upgrades over there. We have another potential something on the left for Andrew. We'll see if he calls the tune. Does call the tune, so we'll probably go for a quick tune Nomi.
Just as
Plus,
yeah, just as Max is doing early honor cuts, not committing fully to the flush.
oh no, that's a great draw for Merlin, finishing that Dora shape.
The other thing to consider for Max on the right is he already has Ipeco confirmed. If he starts calling for a flush, it's not going to get that Ipeco value. Ishanten now.
Does decide to keep the Ipeco value, not greed, considering he has upgraded his 1/3 Kanchan to a Ryankan.
Call can call it and swap to Door Tonki. Will do so. Tanya Door 2. And amazingly, that door itself is more live than the tile next to it. I prefer the Door Tonki, honestly.
I think the Dora Honky was a great choice here, especially people aren't going to drop it. But because you're open, people are a little bit less on their guard. Oh, does swap. Takes the wider 258 Samenchan, which allows Andrew to call and get slightly further into his hand. But Andrew's still not quite in Tempai yet and a little bit far away.
Yeah.
2 Shanten or 3 Shanten.
The way Carl played actually got Max off of the hand. Cutting away from 9 so probably a little suspicious of pin flush. But then the 5-mon deals in is just Tanya. Okay, I'll take that. As Max was approaching Tempai of his own.
All right, and now we have swapped to Max's dealership. So Merlin, no more dealerships for this game. Starts off with a pretty strong hand, a 2/2/3 Ramen or Anko extender. Pair of 5-mon, pair of 6-pin, and a 8/8/9 so. So really strong shapes. Yeah, but we have 2 calls already, back to back. That was so fast.
All I'm seeing is the pairs in Max Sand. Now there's 5 pairs, so Ishanten and calls keep happening. Pull. We've got activity all around the table.
I'm curious what the plan is. Maybe Toy over there for Andrew, considering North is not his wind. Maybe even flush.
Yeah, it's
Who knows?
A 2-sided call. If you get the 5-pin pulled, then you can play for Toy. Otherwise, you're probably doing the flush. That's it's flexible. It feels like the type of call I see Korak make all the time. I'm not sure about calling the pay first. I think as long as you have the Honitsu, it's not bad.
Honitsu isn't definitely an option. Cutting 3/5/5 will definitely signal to other people you are going on this Honitsu. But maybe the order in which you cut with disguise. Oh, a choice must be made. Decides to cut the Forso to preserve all options. Regular hand and Chitoy.
Yeah, and now pairs starting to build in the hand on the left for Merlin and Anko in 2 pairs. For Carl, when you've got 2 Yakuhai pairs, a lot of times there's that internal call to make a flush happen because that's an instant Mongon, but Carl not really with the correct shapes for that.
I think it will be, well, we're still flexible over there for Andrew, so we'll see what happens. Carl looking to either draw the 2/5-mon into Tempai, or maybe even draw a 6-so or 4-so around the Sozu shape, and cutting away from that 8/9 Penchan.
I think he's definitely looking at this hand as a flush, a Manzu flush, and so just trying to think about how much safety he wants to keep. Even considering the West, maybe you pair that up, you can suddenly go for a flush, but then you have to drop the 4-mon, 3-mon, and things get tricky.
Oh, 7-pin penchant fill for Carl, now Tempai on the 2-5. Probably the best draw he could have gotten. Oh,
Don't.
and we are now on a normal hand for Max, but does end up dealing in.
It's the 5-mon again, but this
Carl.
time a little more expensive. 3,900 with the double south. And the green dragon.
Merlin's first place is becoming slowly under threat. 7,000 points away, plus Carl's dealership. With a really, really strong dealership hand.
He
I'm
wins.
waiting for you to say it.
He wins.
I'm waiting for you to
Each.
say it.
It's 2, 3, 4, so he has to win, right?
On the 2-pin. He has
it's-
to win on the 2-pin.
It's a Kanchan 2-pin. Guaranteed Sanshoku.
It's also once cut.
Yeah, it has to win. If you see the 5-pin, you throw it back, surely.
Surely. You don't take this. You only take it for the 2, 3, 4.
Throw it back, throw it back, throw it back. Oh.
Throw it back!
All right, Uratu is good.
Okay,
Uratu's
well,
good.
Uratu. Okay,
The 2, 3, 4 was in the hand, so I'll count it.
It counts in your heart.
And that's a big hand for Carl. 12,000 points. Richitsumo Pinshu Uratu. The big Uratu, the Pinshu as well. And that's going to be a 9,000 point advantage over second place.
Skyrocketing him into first when we were like, he's only 7,000 points away. And now he has, well, significantly more than that as a first place. And he gets to repeat his dealership. Excellent. Also, a really great hand, a 1-2-2 shape in the Manzu, and a already 2 blocks in the Sozu. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7. So
Potentially very
Carl
strong.
looking to secure his promotion spots.
And if you think about how this game has gone for Carl, it's been very slow and steady, 1,000 points here, a couple thousand there, 39 here, and then boom, 12,000 points first place.
Boom.
Oh yeah, the secret to winning, by the way, is to not watch the game while you're playing. I'm speaking from experience.
Whenever my games are casted in any situation, I note it, and then I wait to watch it way after I have played the game, when I have forgotten even my own decisions. I have found that is the best way to play the game. So I'm not offended by my own play.
Yeah, interesting choice here by Carl to cut the 1-mon. Certainly seems widest. However, you do lose the chance at 1, 2, 3 Sanshoku and hedging the Itsu instead. We will have Merlin Tempai, though, on the 2-mon for Yakuhaya only.
Carl having 2 of them, considering if he wants to keep the 6-0 for better shape extension, but giving up Itsu, except it will be coming out from Andrew. Just a short 1,300 points, 1,000 plus the Honma.
And it will be Andrew back in the dealer seat for our all last hand. Green Dragon Dora once held on the right across the table. Andrew, though, holding all the Manzu.
What a wonderful dealer hand. Anko of 7, pair of 8, pair of 2 of 4, 5. I mean, this is 4 shapes already. Take it. If he doesn't go Chinitsu here, I'm calling the Chinitsu police.
Okay, now hang on a second.
This is just given to you.
There is one route where we don't get Chinitsu, and that's if we Anko everything up and find Suanko instead.
No, not anymore because it's open. Sorry.
All right, the Chinitsu police not coming for Andrew this time. We'll see the Tuso eventually. Just gotta draw some safer tiles. Who can challenge?
The only exception I would make would be for Honitsu if he finds some Dora.
Fair. I think Merlin's got an excellent hand here. The question is it good enough to fight for first? The gap is about 8,000 points, a little under 8,000 points. So Merlin with a Mongon can take over, and he's building a bit of a monster.
Carl is also Ishan 10. Potential did just get rid of the Itsu chance for sure, but waiting on 4-7 pin. Or actually, no, he could still use the 1-mon as pair, so he could also potentially get a 5-4 so for that Itsu.
You're right. Curious to see how Max plays across the way. The gap to third place is 2,100 points. So maybe you east for Tanyao here. We'll go 6 mon, 8 mon, and look for a Ricci.
Maybe looking for that. I forget the official name for this whip, but when you have the 2-5 East,
And Totsu.
Agari and Totsu, that's it.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
This is. I mean, it's such a sneaky way, especially on the east, which is, we're not in the east round. It's not your seat. There's no reason that Max should be waiting on it. If anything, Andrew should, as the dealer with the
Eat.
flush. But okay, there we got our Tenpai. It is the Entotsu as you predicted. Now 2-mon gone. There are a couple 5-pin, 1 5-pin in the wall, and both east. No Ipatsumo though.
Andrew getting more Manzu, just kind of collecting them. Also Ishan 10. And Carl did commit to that Itsu swap by cutting the 6-so earlier when he drew the 4-so.
He considered cheating for Tenpai, but instead draws the 6-1. It's Genbu to the Ricci, but that's also going to feed Andrew.
Boom.
Oh, but denied! Merlin says no! You cannot get Tenpai for your Chinitsu, dealer.
I feel like that was that better have been I feel like that's a really great strategic call from Merlin.
Absolutely, but not going to stop Andrew from getting Tenpai this time. 1 mon, 7 mon the wait here. 1 mon held by
Sumo.
Carl, but instead the 5-pin Sumo, Ricci Sumo, that's going to do it. That's going to overtake. Andrew has to pay 1,000 points, so the 2,000 plus the 1,000 is going to overtake. And Max
So unfortunate for
last.
Andrew getting that call, or so taking that two-man pawn did end up giving his direct competitor to the Sumo, but also giving him Tenpai on the 1-7 Shabo. It is so hard to make that decision.
Yeah, tragedy. This was that comeback hand. This would have put potentially into second place if he hits the Roan directly off of Merlin or Carl. So big opportunity for Andrew. Falls to the wayside. Max shuts it down. And they may have another game yet to play. We'll check and see, but standings will update. Carl advancing. Oops. Let's continue on to the end screen. Carl with a plus 30 points here will advance in the standings.
Merlin plus 12, still keeping away from the relegation zone, just barely. Max, minus 15, a very respectable third place, still positives overall in the standings, and definitely by no means impossible for him to reach up to 5th place or even get a potential bonus promotion slot. And Andrew, another really, really easy negative 31, hoping to get back into the positives.
Yeah, minus 31 is definitely safe from relegation, so Andrew doesn't have to worry about that. Just wants to see a couple nice results come his way in this final series. All right, taking a look at the calendar for us, we do have about a minute left before this next game. Oh, take that back. That minute was a minute ago in the past. It's about to start right now, so.
Yeah, a couple people in the chat saying if they were Andrew, they would be very tilted. But that is just how the game is, and you got to keep going when you have this series of 4.
And having,
Put it
met
behind
Andrew,
you.
a very cool dude, very chill guy. I think he'll be able to handle taking a 4th like that. I mean, he almost pulled himself into contention for first with that gorgeous hand. But
It was indeed gorgeous.
We do have the game underway. I want to show everyone what this game is. We do have Andrew in the dealer seat, Carl on the right, Max across the table, Merlin on the left. It's a little bit of a place seating arrangement swap. Also, I don't know, Ichigo, if you've seen the results of the most recent A2 game we were watching at Claire Eric
Oh, I have
table.
Boom.
I do believe it just came in.
Oh, let me go peek at that right now.
I'm not, sitting in A2 myself, but I'm incredibly invested. A2 is such an exciting division, both on the promotion side and the other side as well. It's going to come down to the final games for sure.
Okay, so for those of you in the chat, we have Claire at first place plus 30.3, Eric at second place plus 8.9,
Boom.
Michael in third place negative 10.3, and Dennis fourth place negative 28.9. So I believe this will put Claire back into promotion zone at the fifth place
Yeet.
slot, the first or the very last promotion zone. Eric, who was in eighth place, is I'm not sure if he maintains eighth place or not, but might go up to seventh. Michael, negative 10.3, taking 3/3 in a row, not great from him, but still safe from relegation. And then Dennis, a negative 28.9, unfortunately not what he needed because he was looking to get out of relegation zone, so this puts him a bit further in, but they all still have a full session of games left to play.
All right, thanks for the update. That was game number 3, and I believe they're playing one more as we speak. So it will be, we'll have one more update on that A2 series in the near future. But we do have Max, the Ricci here in this game, starting things off.
Sumo.
Gets that Sumo. Ricci, Sumo, and I don't know, it feels like not hitting this time though. Will just be the 2,000 points to open the game off. There's a really funny moment as Carl drew the 4th 1-mon and had the opportunity to con, but unsurprisingly decided to play conservatively. We go to Carl's dealership.
Pretty good shapes. Has a 3/4 Realman, but that could extend to a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 2 shapes. 4-pin is the Dora.
Yeah, 4-pin Dora, a nice central looking tile, so big potential for big value. And across the way, Merlin sitting with a pair.
Nice 7-pin pull for Max on the right, potential Ipeco now. And maybe even Junchan if that 7/7 pair can be shifted somehow to maybe a 9/9.
To respond to the chat. It's actually kind of funny. The session 6 is so intense
Eat.
that I get very invested in every single division. This B2 division is also going to be really close coming down to the wire. I can't wait to see what happens. We do have the Regi from
Dong.
Andrew cuts the 7, so to wait on the Ipeco side and gets it. Ricci Ipeco 2600 from Carl. That lowers the average.
Lowers the average because he did breaky pots. If he didn't breaky pots, would have been higher.
We'll be looking at 52. All right. Honestly,
Above the average.
I'm more excited to see if Carl's able to keep lowering the deal in average than to see if he can win in
What
points.
is this current deal in average? Could you
according to
remind
the
me?
stats, 2,814.
Okay, 2,800 was spot on. All right. Oh, we have double Yaku High pair across the way for Andrew. Haku and Ton completed 2, 3, 4 and a pair of 1-pin. So this could be a fast hand.
On the left, Carl's
and a lot of
Sozu.
Boom.
another potential Honitsu for Max over here as dealer, but also has really good shapes, so could just end up taking the normal hand Ricci.
And having watched the way Max has played so far in the series, it really does feel like he prefers to keep flexibility in all of the suits rather than force something in one suit. I expect him to stick around with these pin shapes. I should be noted, though, across the table, Andrew, after calling, has drawn the Dora, paired up the Dora, so looking at potential Mungon, regardless of whether he makes a triplet of the 1-mon or calls the Haku as well.
Carl picking up more Sozu. Now I believe 2 Shanten needs to confirm, turn one of his pairs into an Onko, and then fill that 4-5-5 shape.
Yeah, it feels like there's got to be a way that this is Ishanten. It depends on how he draws into Tempai, but he will be Tempai on basically anything from 3 through 9.
Eat.
8 so would be Tempai.
Absolutely.
Oh, but there is the Ricci from Merlin. 6-9, I believe.
This six
Or
spin
sorry,
can be
no,
jammed.
4-7, 4-7.
Carl could probably go the conservative route with the 9 so, but that 6 spin actually has some logic behind the jam. But we'll just hang on to shapes. And now this is Tempai, but a worse one. 5 so, 7 so. Yeah, and will not even play for it.
It is double Russian Tunky.
See, that's another version of Tempai, but it doesn't have a Yaku behind it, so we'll just continue to fold. Might get in trouble though. This 4-7, not super safe. Oh, Haku, that might come out, and that will be a Mongon if it deals in.
And Andrew just got the Tempai the turn before, getting a Anko of the Dora.
All right, that average
No
is
one
going up.
expected that.
This may be the first Mongon deal-in of the season for Carl. We'll have to run the stats.
If Ember is in the chat, please run the stats for us.
Yeah, it was a
Has
surprise
Carl
though.
ever dealt into a Mongon?
This was not the hand you were expecting.
Shonpai Haku is extremely scary in that situation, but given his hand of full middle Sozu, might actually have been the safest option.
Oh, we have chat confirmation. Josh is also in this division, so confirms that this is not, in fact, the first Mongon deal-in. But we do have Merlin fighting as the dealer for another flush. Toy maybe?
All right, Carl is human. Does deal in sometimes. To Mongons. But Carl has a great hand. Potential 789 Sanshoku does end up calling for it. Sanshoku West potential and Chanta. So lots of upgrades.
I really love this Hatsu cut, keeping the 1 pin around just in case you draw the pair, and you can make this Junchan as well. However, after drawing a pair elsewhere, it makes sense to just play the shapes that you have and try to shut down the dealer, who does look quite scary.
No overflow Honitsu. I don't think I believe it quite yet, considering what he has been discarding. But it does look scary. I would want to stop dropping Pinzu if I was his Shimocha or his Kamicha.
In terms of reading the discards, the alarm bell for me is that Dora discard. If it was Toy, I suspect Merlin would have kept that 8 so around a little bit longer. Now, certainly the chances that it's Tempai are relatively low, as you were saying.
But it will be the Ricci from Andrew, 3 so Kanchan. We see 1 in Max's hand, pretty solidly in Max's hand, will not come out, but can always pull the Dennis Strat of just Sumo.
There are 3 in the wall. And this is the perfect example of why Suji is a fine defensive resource, but it can't really be trusted that well when the Ricci tile is what's creating the Suji, because a lot of times that 6 so comes from the 2-4-6 Diankan shape, as we see here. And a lot of times the players will choose to wait on the tile that's more terminal, the one that's close to the end. And the 3 is certainly closer to the end than the 5, which would have been the other option from that shape. So Merlin draws one of those 3 so's, says, you know what, I'm going to hold on to this as long as I can. Max, though, ran out of defensive options and gave it a shot, but it did deal in.
It's so scary because the 5 so does not look any better than that 3 so. Because yes, 3 so is Suji, but it is Suji to the Dora tile, and as you were explaining earlier, that is not a very safe option all the time. And also, sometimes if you had a 4-4-6 shape or a 4-5-5 shape, like you can throw that extra tile. So tiles around the Dora, tiles around the Ricci tiles also tend to be a little bit more dangerous than usual.
Yeah, of course, all of these defensive thoughts are just tools, right? You can't always rely on them. Sometimes you have no better option, and you make the best choice that you have, and it just deals in. That's totally fine. We do have a couple pawns on the left from Merlin, aiming for Junchan, I suppose, or a Chanta type hand. The problem is that he drew the 4 pin. And I would like to just cut the 4-pin right now. We'll start with the Haku. I just think the odds that we are able to win this hand with the 4-pin in our hand are extremely small, so I'll just get rid of it right now. And then we will hold more options for our potential Juncham. Yeah, we have hit that one world where we get to win with a 4-pin, and that is if we can call the Yakuhai, but unfortunately Carl's holding the other pair of red dragons, so Chi, and then you have to make a sacrifice. You can't cut the 4-pin, unfortunately. That would be a swap call. Those are illegal.
Maybe sensing that he is Mochi Mochi on this June, so trying to get any other way to get Tenpai, and does find it on that 9-pin.
Fantastic. So Chanta Tenpai will be Chanta Chun as well if the red dragon comes out from Carl. And there is a world where that happens as well, but most of the improvements for Carl are just going to be Tenpai, and so he'll just slam 5, 6, 7 Sanchoku, though. 4 still could come out. You could even 6 Mon preemptively.
See, that's another great strategy, because you had that 5-6-6 shape, so if you ended up getting Tenpai on either the Chun or the 2-pin, you would have had to cut the 6, and you'd have been very... Then, though, I would have said the 5-7-4 would be very, very scary.
Yeah, this is beautiful
but
here.
Now he disguised it a little bit.
Tenpai on the
Chun
red...
Chun might come out.
And the 2-mon looks pretty safe, too, because the 3-mon came out before the 6-mon did. Yeah, this is such a trapped weight, and the 2-mon is in the wall. Richi Tsumo Sanshoku for Carl. It's an Ura. That doesn't increase the score, but makes you feel like the wall's in your favor.
Excellent play for Carl, recognizing the Sanshoku and then making the switch when he had the opportunity. We see potential Shosangen chance on the right with no green dragons, but I believe it could come. There's none out anywhere. So I'm saying Max might get a Shosangen.
Shosangen, why stop there? Let's go all the way.
I don't know if I believe in drawing 3 of them. But probably at least Honitsu here. Shun, Haku. I'm praying for the some Sangen. How about that?
Oh yeah.
Any Sangen.
Rooting for the Sangen. Sangenpai, please come into hand. Oh, how about just Sozu? Just nothing but Sozu. That's a good alternative.
Sozu. How about Suanko? Suanko Sozu.
I'm done. Carl opening a couple times, 3 times? That might be too far. Really thinking about it though. Yeah, he's gonna let that
Not
go.
Tenpai can't convince himself to drop his only pair.
Yeah, especially with 3 calls in. Sometimes you can do that with...
Oh my god! Wait, did you notice that? Max calling the red dragon shifted the green dragon draw twice in a row to Merlin.
Oh no! Apparently you were supposed to pass the first...
You passed the first one! Oh my god! What a boo-boo.
Blunder. What a blunder.
I don't know what else to say.
There is nothing else to say.
I hope Max doesn't watch this clip back.
I'm being a bit facetious. And Max will find the Tenpai. Tenpai for Yakuhai, Honitsu, Dora. Oh, there's the green, but it's too late.
Too late.
It's 205, so...
I mean, technically, Merlin did hold the green dragon, so it's not technically too late, but he saw the once cut and was like, it's not happening.
This is Toy Toy on the left for Andrew as well. Things are getting spicy. And Merlin, it looks like he's done. He doesn't want to touch this hand anymore. South is safe to the flush player, but... Uh-oh.
Well, will it be a swap? Probably not. He already has 1 Forso in his called tiles, so this would be strictly a weight disimprovement.
Absolutely. But yeah, Carl doesn't even want to test this. Yeah, it draws the 3, so it can use them both. What is this?
All right, folding into a different tempai. We love this strategy. Love it.
Yeah, this cannot win for Andrew. That's not the toy toy. So Andrew stuck. Oh, this 9 so not amazing.
Sumo.
Oh my goodness. This is cheating. This I'm pretty sure this is not allowed. Can someone get the admins?
I don't. That can't be fair. Going from 4 mon, 3 so, 4 so, cutting the 2 4 mon, getting perfect draws.
Home.
2 sumo 3 turns later after pretty much cutting his entire hand.
Yeah, that's actually really impressive from Carl. I mean, it's if you are playing the odds, you can just jam the Vorso and say, I've got my tempai. Give me the wider weight. If you're playing defensively, you could even say, okay, well, the 4-so is a worse tile, but I could see, 3-so is one chance. Let me just try that first. And that just deals in. If you're playing super defensively, you could go 4-mon, and then draw back into tempai, and then sumo. That is outstanding for Carl, who, didn't win that many points. Gets to be the dealer, but more importantly, didn't deal into that Mungon from Max.
This is exactly why his deal-in percentage is probably, well, now it's probably like 3,000 with that one Mungon, but still, incredible play from Carl. That's textbook defensive luck.
It feels so good when you finish the hand. You look back at the log and you realize what happened. Which I believe Carl knows already at this point what happened. I think I saw some chatter, but we've got a spicy one here as well. Merlin already shunted across the table. Carl opening up Atosuke for the White Dragon, and Max is making strides as well towards Tempai. Already Ishanten with potential monster Richi here. Richi Dora 1, but with loads of food potential and the Hatsu. Oh, do you 8-mon here and then hedge the Chanta?
Home.
I think he does. I would absolutely 2-pin Conch on this. Oh, Carl drawing the Anko of Haku. Potentially will drop the 2. No, decides to drop the 6 for that Dora weight.
It's going to be 6-pin, then 2-pin. But the 2-pin is the last one, so Max really needs this to come out. Uh-oh. Do we go back and try to use the Dora? No. Oh, and then Max draws the 1-mon, which he cannot use, and so that'll be a shutdown from Merlin. Just the 1,300 for the Yakuhai. And Fu.
The game along.
Yeah, shifts into Max's dealership. So this has been a relatively quiet game. Of course, we have Andrew at 38,000 points, but there's plenty of opportunity for anyone to pull in a big knockout sumo. And certainly would be a good time for Max to find his.
Very, very pretty looking hand for Max right now. We have a full set on the 2-3-4 side, Anko of the West, and then a pair in Sanzo, and then the 4-6 Kanchan, which is an easily extendable shape. I would be very happy with this if I got this as dealer.
He shut that already.
But we also have Merlin, an incredible hand there as well. I believe also 2 Shanten. Turn 4.
Oh, hello, 6-0. Easy 6-0. And now Max is looking like he can't lose.
2-3-4 Sanchoku potential if he draws either a 6-mon or a 7-mon.
One can only hope. Even without the 6 or 7-mon, he could still draw, say, 2-so, and then trim down out of the West Anko. So cut the 3-so and then trim out of the Anko later. Big opportunity. But Carl on the left is fighting for Itsu, it looks like.
My first was a flush, but looking at the shapes, it's definitely Itsu. Looking for that 7-so, and then would be Tempai on the 1-4. Max seeing the 2-3-4 Sanchoku and draws the 2-so, so is going to do exactly what you said.
Yeah, basically all draws give 2-4 Sanchoku, except for the 2-pin and 4-pin.
Slight backfire cutting that 6, 7, 8, 9 Sozu, but we have the better Sanchoku anyways.
Absolutely. A Chun call from Merlin straight into Tempai. Uh-oh. 5 pin, 8 pin to shut this hand down. Lots of tiles in the wall, 5 of them. Merlin battling for second. Oh, but there's the tempai
1
on the 3 pin. There are 2 in the wall. 2 versus 5. Who would win?
Currently, this is just going to be Riichi Sanshoku for
Gee.
the 58, I believe.
Yeah, with the bonus foo
Or
as
no,
well.
77, 340.
Absolutely. Big
Okay.
chance for Max. We also have the call. There's the 3 pin.
Oh, there's the 3 pin. Will it come out from Carl? We have been talking about his low deal-in rate.
Yeah,
It's very useless, and he does not discard it.
so passive, so disciplined. Not a lot of tiles in Carl's hand, though, to fight against this Riichi, so you never know. It might become Suji.
I would favor probably the 1-mon discard as well.
Surely Merlin doesn't con here.
Looking at 3 2-mons in the pool.
Yeah, Carl actually might just believe that all of the Sozu are safe. We also have a Tempai across the way for Andrew on the 2 pin, which does have a Yaku. There's the 5, can switch. Now on 4 pin Kanchan with potential... Oh, I don't know. This could turn into Gianpeko in the future?
Very interesting.
Oh, the 7. I saw a world where the 3 pin came out. The 7 pin was just safe.
It's only because 7 pin was
Don't.
called.
It's
Oh,
gonna be
on
a
the double run
instead. Unbelievable. Again, we need to get the admins on this. Something weird is happening.
2 3 4 not work. I don't understand.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised that it took so long for a 5 pin to come out. A pair of 8 pins from Andrew were held in hand, so Merlin to get the win there.
Excellent discard from I believe it was Merlin cutting the 7 pin to allow Andrew to cut the 7 pin instead of the 3 pin.
Honestly, that
When
was
he drew that
bravery
open
from
pair.
Merlin. I'm not sure I would have been able to jam half the tiles for Tempai. And if that 7 pin doesn't come out, then Andrew has a hard time jamming for Tempai as well. So that bravery rewarded. But we get to swap over to Merlin for our all last hand.
Gosh, I love watching Mahjong. So many fun things happen.
It is incredible.
Thank you for giving Armel this platform that we can just watch Mahjong on. It's great.
Yeah, and the season by season, to see the growth of the players, to see advancement in the league, it's been awesome. And
Oh, great 8 pin Kanchan draw for Max. I'm so sorry. Go ahead.
oh yeah, we've got Max closing in on Tempai, and with the current score situation, Among Us Sumo would surpass. There is a world where that happens with a door draw.
Don't forget, we are in Merlin's dealership, so that means we can wrench on forever.
Oh,
Right?
Tempai.
Merlin can keep us hostage for
Yeet.
4 more hours if he wanted to.
Okay, Max is going for it. Riichi Pinhu will look for the Dora. So Riichi Tsumo Pinhu Dora Ura will be a Mangan, and that'll be a 12,000 point swing to overtake.
4-7, let's see. Does not have epots. All the 7 mons are locked, looking for the Dora. So, I mean, the Dora is the one that he wants.
Yeah, Dora live in the wall. Andrew says no to 3 pin. Was actually pretty close to Tempai there. Ishanten, I believe, but declines. Says I just need to play safely here from my perch atop the scoreboard here in this game.
Merlin calling for Tanyao, saying, I cannot let it end like this. I am only 800 points away from from second place. And even though it is -5,
Sumo.
oh, it is the Tumo for Max on the Dora. That's it. What's
Oh,
what
we
we
see
need?
the Ura. We need the
Tumo
Ura.
into Dora.
Ura!
Ura won. Let's go, Max. Congratulations.
Max.
The 2K, 4K for the Gyakten.
And that's going to be just barely enough to squeak out another 3rd place. That's back-to-back Yakten that we've seen. Was it Max both times?
Was Max both
I
times,
believe
and this Gyakten and the last one only happened because the person that was in third place previously was the dealer. They needed
that's
that dealer bonus point for the Gyakten to even be possible.
that is
Because if Merlin wasn't the dealer, it would not have worked.
absolutely nuts stuff happening here. And, the game wasn't really playing to Max's favor in either game, honestly, in the early portions, but he is able to squeak out a third. And that's really all you can ask for when you're in this situation. You play the tiles that you're given, and sometimes they aren't going to give you your first place, but you do the best that you can. And in this case, the best that you can is avoid last. And it was very well played to have avoided fourth in 2 consecutive games. And Max will stay in the positives after all is said and done in this early 2 games of the series. Taking a look at, well, the winner, Andrew, plus 30.1, actually remains the only player over 30,000 points. And so he will gain
Does take the bonus 5.
plus
Very
20
exciting.
in the UMA category. Carl maintains second place because Merlin took the Oyakabudi. Carl actually gets second. And so minus 2.1 for that. Stays fifth overall. Actually drops below Edwin in the standings as a result, but is tightly contested there for fourth and fifth place. Again, Max with the minus 8.1. Merlin with a strong attempt. 19.9 here for fourth place is certainly respectable. And it's going to be
And it's
really
still
close.
not in relegation. Yep.
Yeah.
They still have I believe, a 15-point buffer from them before they hit the relegation zone. But wow, looking at these scores, it's not even that Andrew ran away with it, because most times when you see someone taking all of the the floating Uma, it's because they hit big hand after big hand, and they summoed them all. So you end up having a lot of players significantly below that 30k mark. But this was just one big hand in a game of patience that really allowed this to happen. Because between second and fourth place was a marginal difference of 2,800 points. That is 1,240.
Yeah.
So small.
Incredibly close game. I believe this table is only playing 2, so we can take a peek at the B2 standings.
All right, Carl. Where is your deal in 2974? It went up.
It went up.
That Mangan absolutely did affect him.
Quite unfortunate, but still below 3,000. To finish below 3,000 is an achievement. Just needs to survive 2 more games.
That's totally doable, right? Totally doable.
Absolutely. I mean, it's extremely difficult, but the way Carl's been playing, it is absolutely achievable. Of course, if he's trying to advance to fourth place or third place overall in the standings, he might have to push a little bit. And you never know what the tiles will give you. You might deal in well and Ricci. All sorts of things can happen in the game of Mahjong, but
Josh also only one solid first place away from overtaking Carl. And Josh also has 4 games left of his season. So looking for that promotion spot.
yeah, looking to be quite an exciting finish here for the guaranteed promotion spots in the B2 division. Taking a look at the games remaining, I believe that there is only one game still going on. And, well, it's the game we started with, the series we started with. I don't mind going back there to finish it off in South 1.
Let's see what happens to Claire, Michael. Oh my god, I already forgot everyone who was playing. I know Claire,
Dennis,
Michael,
Eric.
Dennis. Oh my god, how could I forget Dennis and Eric? Yes, yes.
All right, let's hop over. Eric.
I apologize, Eric and Dennis, for momentarily forgetting about you.
So this is the 4th game here of their catch-up round in round 5. And it'll take me just a moment to swap the names over again.
Oh, we have Eric as South 1 dealer, currently sitting in what looks like to be second place by 500 points with a pair of West Dora. Pretty good shapes overall. Ishan 10 would love to get a 7 pin to Ricci on the 5-8 mon. What else do we have here? We have honestly good shapes for everyone. This
Each.
is like, wow. Oh, and there's the Ricci for Eric, waiting on that 7-pin. Ricci, Dora 2, looking for Ura for that Mongan.
And Eric's probably hoping that players will see this 5-pin and start dropping them. 5-pin, maybe a few 8-pins. And maybe that will bait a 7-pin to come out. Actually, there are 3 in the wall, so surprisingly live.
Again, who needs to bait when you can just sumo? That has been the strat for this table this whole time.
Sumo would be Mongon. Oh, you called it.
There it is! Reach sumo, Dora 2. Ura.
Yeah, 1.
Doesn't matter, but
Found one of
does
the
hit.
one of the winners. I feel like that's the case. Always my Shabo or my Penchon weight is sitting as the Uda indicator.
It's always devastating when you say, oh my god, I was 1 off from Ura 3 or 1 off from Ura 2.
In this case, that 7 being the Uda did give Uda 1, but still 4,000 all. Eric in the lead, takes it over from Dennis. And welcome. Welcome
Player
from
in
Germany.
shambles. Useless Ura called by Isabella. Amazing. Claire in shambles, currently in 4th place, has taken exactly a first, a 4th, and then a first. A 4th place would drop her back probably to 7th place. So exactly where we started this league, 3 games ago. So looking to keep her promotion spot.
I hope Garrick hasn't been watching this series. It would be a roller coaster. I'm 5th. I'm 6th. I'm 5th. I'm 6th. I'm 5th again, potentially. We'll see how the remainder of this game goes.
Garrick, the one really watching this, looking for that promotion spot, also having 4 games left to play, though. Garrick, another very entertaining person to watch play Mahjong. I would highly recommend you guys tune in to one of his games if we stream them.
Games in Armo, and also if you're a member of the American Reaching Mahjong League and you participate in the voice chat activities, Garrick streams a lot of his games, and they are some of the most entertaining games of Mahjong I have ever witnessed. Have been on display in the chat. So if you're not a part of the American Reaching Mahjong League and you want to see exciting Mahjong, absolutely, that's a reason to join.
When do signups close for next season, Nathaniel?
Oh, funny you should ask that. Technically, they have closed 2 days ago, but that doesn't stop you from signing up anyway. There's a very slim chance that you might be able to sneak your way in if we need to fill seats, and especially with the news that there's the potential of creating a new C2 division. There's actually a good chance that you'll be able to sneak in late. So if that is if that's something you want to do, absolutely consider checking out our website anyway, AmericanReach.org.
Yeah, this is the first time we have, I believe, 2 full leagues of 24 of the C1 divisions. We have 48 players. I don't know how many are promoting, demoting, staying, hiatusing, but it is highly likely that we will be having an official C2 creation. So if you have any desire to join the American Reaching Mahjong League, play Mahjong, get your games casted, it is worth it, and I think we would love to have you. So just sign up. Even if you're somewhat interested, you can always sign up your first season to play as a substitute player. So you don't even have to commit to the whole season, just to get a taste of it.
Absolutely. We saw a really funny sequence there as Claire called the Red Dragon, and then drew the Yasume, the cheap side. Didn't get the 6-pin for the Sanchoku, but if she had passed the Red Dragon, she was going to draw it actually on her next draw. So did get the win, though. It's not that many points, but it's a step in the right direction. We'll see if Claire can keep that momentum up here in South 2. Michael in the dealer seat.
Dennis having the Red Dragon this hand, drawing that Penchon 3, so the key. Now looking for that Penchon 7-pin to finish his 8-9 shape. And then he will be, well, draw any floater to maintain this very Kutsuki Ishanten.
Yeah, Dennis absolutely looking super strong in this hand. And I think the strongest, I'm not seeing a matched pace around the table. Across the way, Claire does have the green dragon pair, and sure, you could call for a fast hand, but she's already let one go. She wants to Ricci. The value here is more important than the speed.
Definitely, especially this being south too. Claire does have her last leadership, but we've seen before how during the last leadership, sometimes people can run away with it, and sometimes it gets shut down faster than you would say Ricci. So definitely want to get a little bit closer to second or third place, at least not fourth. We do have Garrick in the chat saying he has been watching his placement jump up and down, up and down.
Dennis! Uh-oh. Has the Tempai, says no. Declines the roll. He wants to Ricci for first.
Looking for a better tile to Ricci. Maybe a 4-so, one of the extension shapes.
Dora. That's
Eat.
okay.
That's pretty good.
Enough. Ricci
Not
Chun.
Dora.
4-7 pin. It's a little rough for a 7 being the Dora indicator, but yeah, this is optimism here on display from Dennis. Probably would have preferred the 1-4, so.
Dennis does need the points though, as we see his placement currently dropped from 19th earlier down to 22nd, which is where he actually started this whole set of 4 games. However, he was only, I believe, minus 75 starting this, so he has dropped slightly. So definitely wants to, again, get points to get out of this relegation zone.
Claire cutting 4-so 3D10 right now for her Ishantan with Pinshu. Probably gave some thought to cutting 1-so 1-so for the potential of drawing the 4-mon and moving to Tanya out, but decided just to go with a Genbutsu first. It's a lot of different ways that could have gone. There's even the slight consideration to chi that for Tempai because the 9-so are all gone, and then try to play for a K10, but it's a little risky. There's a long way to go yet.
Chi.
Michael shifting his way also in Ishan 10. Tempai here, he takes it 7-pin Penchon.
I drew the door and said, you know what?
Completely locked up.
I'm dealer. Dealer is supposed to reach you. And then he hit the button.
I believe that. I believe dealer is supposed to reach you. Shiny button pops up, shiny button gets pressed.
And as you said, no weights in the wall, so drawing dead, and for Dennis, there is 1 4-mon left in the wall. Oh, Claire draws it.
That was very scary, though. Michael reached and then immediately drops Dora, and it was not called a Ron by Dennis. So it will both players drawing dead.
And as long as Claire finds a safe tile, south. 8-mon, Dora safe, so 2 players Tempai. Michael gets to retain the dealership when 2 Ricci sticks in the middle for the next hand.
I remember very recently I was playing a Mahjong game, and Dora was safe. I had one in my hand. I called really early and someone reached. Another one came out. And then, like very close to the end of the game because it was safe to the Ricci person. And then I sumoed Dora pair Haite no Mi. Love that.
Fantastic. The last time I
Looking at
summoned
the
a Haite,
hand-
I forgot that was a Yako. I didn't include it in my hand.
Did it make a difference?
It did make a difference. Fortunately, somebody corrected me. Like, wait,
That's
isn't
painful.
that Hanemon?
Okay.
And I'm like, oh, you're right. This is Hanemon. Thanks.
All right. We have some pretty good shapes over here for Dennis. Really good Manzu, Sozu, and Pinzu shapes. Kind of can take anything to progress his hand. Claire also has a nice Pinzu pair and a 789. Looking for a connection on her Manzu and possible extender to have more options than having that 8-pin 8-so. Definitely wants to use that 3-so Dora.
And use it twice at that. These hands, though, really slow to develop. think part of it is that
Single person.
players either want the Dora or want the Dora indicator, and those with the Dora indicator are missing the Dora. Those with the Dora itself are missing the indicator. Just holding each other's tiles.
Exactly.
Oh, there's the
My
door for
observation.
Michael.
Oh, but they does not have the door indicator.
Yeah, only one, actually 0 left. They're all held.
They're all, but at least Michael can use the 5-so, whereas Claire and Dennis can use the 5-so, but doesn't want to use the 5-so.
Yeah, Eric, funnily enough, draws the 7-so, all 4 copies, and says, you know what? I'm not even going to save this for a future con. Let's throw it back. I'm in the lead. I don't need to risk anything here. Michael.
Oh, but great Ryancon fill for Michael.
One step closer to Tempai. Claire, a better shape now with the 5-so, so Claire is actually looking pretty strong as well. Michael, though, Ishantan, 6-so. No con from Dennis. Draws the 5-so. That shape improves as well.
Will he cut the door indicator?
5-pin. Now this has to be a 2-3-4 Sanchoku hedge. I'm calling it. Dennis knows I'm watching this final game. He did it just for me.
Boom.
Oh.
Like confirmation on that later, but cutting that 2-so, I don't know. That seems a bit far-fetched when he has a 4-5 pin in his hand.
Yeah, gave it a look, said, you know, this is good enough. There was still also an opportunity for 3-4-5.
Dennis also still has his dealership left, so doesn't, as long as he wins any points now, is still looking for that first place next game.
I just want to point out that without the pony, he would have drawn the 2-pin. Just saying. The chance was there.
Don't think that is as sad as without the June pawn, he would have drawn.
Oh, and the 3-pin would have been Sanchoku Tempai.
Boom.
Do you see the call
Anyway,
from
for
Michael?
the 3-6.
No, that can't win. No,
Oh, but that will
7-7.
be a almost sumo. 1 pin.
Yeah, it's tough here. Like normally, if you're trying to stay in the hand,
Boom.
you'll play 7-7. But the
Boom.
3's gonna come out and deal, and Claire also fighting for a Tempai. And that's a big deal for Dennis as he gets the 2 sticks as well. Only about 4,000 points away, a little less than.
All right. Now we have anyone play MCR? We have a chance for lower 5s. 1, 2, 3, 4 only.
I actually did not know that was an MCR Yaku, but that's why we come into the Armel Ricci Mahjong streams to learn these things.
To learn MCR, yeah, there's lower 5s and upper 5s. There's all 5s, so every meld has a 5 in it.
Okay.
There's also worth double the amount is lower 3s, upper 3s, and middle 3s.
I like this because that combines really well with Sanchoku.
Absolutely. And Ipeiko.
Oh, imagine that. Junchan, Sanchoku, Ipeiko.
Beautiful.
Lower 3s. Dennis,
You
also.
have all the 2, 3, 4s that you want.
Oh, these hands, they're all pretty fantastic. Dennis is probably looking to call the tune and end up on the door Tonki, perhaps?
I think that's a great plan. Eric I think, has the weakest hand out of the bunch, but Claire almost, 2 Shanten, 3 Shanten from Honitsu. Taco, Dennis has this Ipeiko chance on the 1-so Dora Tonki. And then Michael just has just really strong shapes. Potential Ipeiko on the 6, 7, 8. Potential Ryan Peko if we look even further.
Yeah, cuts.
Well, upgraded the shapes.
Yeah, it's really interesting for a Michael. The shapes are almost too strong.
It's strong, but there's a lot of overlap is the issue.
Right. Oh, Dennis did not read the Dora, and Claire is the beneficiary here, collecting Monzu. Might even go Haku here. maybe start with a 9-mon. Is there Itsu? Is there Sananko? Haku, she's going for it all.
Chi.
This having that floating 3 is a little bit awkward for her hand shape. Oh, but it will be the Tempai.
5-pin, 6-pin on the left
Or
for
Chi.
Michael. Eric.
Dennis also calls, going, I think, Otozuke Chun at this point.
Yes. And it definitely has to be worried about these Mon tiles. Claire is not making a secret about her hand. Eric also forcing the flush.
Oh, awkward, can't use it. Claire can't use it. Already twice cut, but we'll keep it.
Yeah, even thrice Eric dropped his. But it's a safe tile essentially at this point.
Claire absolutely needs this if she wants a fighting chance in her dealership.
Oh, big 8
Oh.
on draw. That makes Itsu a possibility.
I believe we are just Ishanten. A 4-pin, not pin, a 4-mon would be everything.
Oh, this is Tempai. If you drop the 4-mon, it doesn't have a Yaku, but it's late enough. He might try it. No, stay safe. No Monsu overflow just yet. That's Tempai.
Tempai, that's
Two-mon
it.
cut is
4-7.
huge. Ipeiko. Potential Itsu. Shinitsu.
That's the first overflow.
6-pin would deal in. That would be a very cheap way for this hand to end. Starts with a 2-so. And I think he'll play for Tempai cutting the 6-pin later if he gets the Chun. 1-pin safe. West is safe. Hatsu safe. There's only 2 tiles remaining. Do you pull? Surely not. Don't want to give Claire another draw if you're sitting in Eric's seat. And Claire needs that draw. Oh, the 6-pin's gonna come out, surely. On Hote, surely. Oh, the 4!
No!
Dennis!
Dennis!
This is
The
Sanbai?
4!
It's Sanbai!
This is Sanbaimon!
With the Hote!
Haite, Pinfu, Ipeiko, Chinitsu, Itsu! Oh my god! That was so...
24,000 point donation.
I was certain it was going to be the 6-pin cut into Michael.
I did as well, but he probably had a very good read that the 6-pin dealt in there. And you know what? Also, very likely concerned about the flush that Eric was showing across the table. Remember,
and maybe he thought, yeah, Claire was only 1 cut extra, but it was only 1, so maybe not Tempai at the... oh my god.
Right? Eric
My
had
heart
opened
is
the hand.
racing.
Eric had opened the hand and Claire had not. So you're definitely thinking more about the open hand than the closed hand. But Claire, with the absolute Takame there with a 4-mon, now she could fight for first.
She absolutely can. That was a 4th to 2nd Sanbaimon. Her final dealership immediately, I think on her second draw, drew the Penchon 3-mon fill. Incredible. Already has all 5 blocks. So honestly, I would start, like, if I were playing this hand, I would start cutting that 5, so I don't need it. Right? Just getting the 7. Oh, one more block. Ishan 10 for Claire. This is incredible progress. Dennis also looking for that Honitsu chance. Just called the Hatsu.
Yeah, definitely playing for the flush. And does it have enough value? It's 3,900 as is. Needs to find another Yakuhai or something to pump it up to Mangan. At this point, Dennis might not be thinking about getting a Mangan, just taking any points and making sure that that Michael doesn't get over 30k. Well, now that's an issue. Claire.
4-7. Claire has 2. Would need to cut a 7 for Tempai, which is super unfortunate.
Jams the 6-mon.
Maybe can make a read and cut 8-so.
Yeah, I think Claire just doesn't have a way to defend easily here, so she's just playing maximum efficiency and trying to win as the dealer. But that means the 7's likely to come out unless she draws 8-so or 7-mon.
A hard draw considering one is in Eric's hand.
Dennis finds the Suji 3-mon. 6-1 already cleared, so it's pretty safe. This 2-5 pin. He'll try the 2-pin first. He's fighting for this. Ishantem.
Three pin doesn't look great, but we'll probably... Okay, testing the already cut 6, so that kind of locks the 7 as her pair or one option.
Yeah, I really like this from Claire.
I like that.
At this point, she has a lot more defensive options, and even 8-so to Mawashi back into Tenpai after drawing around the 3-pin could be viable in the future. She probably doesn't want to cut the 8-so because of the flush on the left, but she doesn't have to do that yet.
If Claire ends the game no 10 here, though, she also has to guarantee that she's not the only person not in Tenpai, because if she pays out more than 1,500, she will drop below 30,000, which would also mean she gives up 5 extra points of placement bonus because of floating Uma.
Yeah, she's decided to be done here. So as long as Eric isn't Tenpai, she'll be fine.
We see that Dennis is Tenpai. Eric is still fighting for this hand. Is Tenpai sorry, not Eric. Eric's still looking to fight, but mostly giving up, I think.
The self comes out, so it will be 39. Dennis saved. At the very least, Michael doesn't get over 30,000 points, but it won't exchange placement. So just collecting a few points back and preserving the situation for the final series for Dennis. Wow, what a swing at the end. Claire looked to be down and out, going back down to 6th place in the standings or even further below. But the Sambaiman Hute Ron will put Claire into 2nd place with a positive score even and advance. Now with 4 games remaining at 97.9, things are incredibly tight here at the top of A2.
It is so exciting. Eric did end up maintaining placement throughout the entire time, 8th place. However, he was originally at plus 31, now at plus 66, only 0.5 points away from Jason to get that 7th place, and only 3 points away from Garrick to get that 6th place and be first in line for that bonus promotion slot. Michael also really well is unfortunately took 4/3, I believe, this session. So
right.
has dropped significantly from -20 to -57, but still not quite in relegation. Has 2 more games to play. I'm sorry, and hopefully can get some positive points there. And Dennis, unfortunately, was looking pretty strong until that Sambai Mandila, but still has 4 more games to play to try and get out of this relegation zone. Only needs about 50 points to get out of it. So 1 first and 1 second would do it.
Yeah, and of course, this was a catch-up game. This was their session 5 that just finished up. So all of those players, with the exception of Michael, have 4 games to play in the entire season, to, for some, make their play for promotion. Claire being one of them, Eric being another. I mean, props to Eric. I think he picked up 40 points in that session, so has a chance at a promotion. And for Dennis, hope still available. The cut line has decreased down to -59, so it's getting a little bit closer within range. And still lots of games to be played in the A2 division. In fact, I'm going to take a peek at the calendar, as I am curious to see when we'll see more of the A2 games coming through.
Yeah, Christine, oh my god. Oh, sorry. Christine, very interestingly, has not played a single game this today, but has went from 20th place all the way to 17th place based on everyone else's games. So sometimes it's not just the play that you make, but it's the play that other people make that will get you places.
And Christine is going to be the next player in A2 to try her luck. It will be a table with Christine, Dennis, and then at the top, Zhenhao and Kevin. So 2 people at
Very exciting.
Yeah, kind of opposite ends. Zhenhao currently leading A2, and Kevin is in 4th place. And the other 2 players are hoping to avoid relegation. So that will be quite an exciting series tomorrow. And then the day after that, it will be Michael, who just played today, Jason, Joe, and Kayla finishing up their series. That will, unless the Christine table is playing all four, and that will probably be the first table complete in A2, and that will be the benchmark for the relegation zone. So a lot to be
believe there's
determined in the next couple
2.
games.
I believe one session is already finished in A2 because
Are
we
you
do
right?
know that Korak is
Yeah.
set with his.
So right now the benchmark is Oliver at -35, but that feels tough to see that as being the actual cut line. I think these next 2 days will determine a lot in terms of both the promotion and the relegation zone in A2. I don't believe we have a stream lined up for Thursday or Friday, but if you would like to follow along the scores, absolutely check out our website. Not only do we have the registration for the season, for the upcoming summer session, but also all the standings for every single one of the divisions, and in fact, the logs of the games as they're completed will be populated into the individual league pages on our website, americanricci.org, and you can check that out. There's also, of course, our YouTube channel where this VOD and all of our previous VODs and future VODs as well will go up. You can watch the excitement of the American Ricci Mahjong League. You can check out our fancy hands on our Twitter page, at American Ricci, for all of our socials, including that YouTube channel.
Yes, thanks so much for watching. I'll do a bit of a self promo. Please follow me on Twitch, Shiro_Ichigo, and I would love to see you. I also stream Mahjong. But more importantly, if you're not an American Ricci Mahjong League player and you want to be, please come. We also accept international players as substitutes. So if you're interested in just getting a taste for the game, you don't live in America, you see the games, you want to play in them, you want to play with some players that you see casted all the time, that's also a wonderful option.
Yeah, good call out there. And absolutely check out Ichigo's Twitch channel. She's a lot of fun to watch stream Mahjong. All right, any final thoughts before we head on out? I know there's some IRL tournaments that are popping up soon. When is the next one?
Oh my gosh, when is the next one? Well, we know we have WRC, the big international tournament coming up, that Nathaniel over here will be a representative of the United States. So everyone please wish him luck. But we also have Chicago, I believe, coming up end of September. We have Ricci Nomi end of July, which I believe is full, but you can get on the wait list. Pacific Mahjong League Open, also October 8th and 9th. I know there's also going to be a Philadelphia Open, unannounced, but there is something there. We have WRL leagues in Oklahoma, Vegas, and New York, if you're interested in that. And then there is the Vegas Open, the Texas Open, both in August. Am I missing anything? I feel like I've been rambling. Like, what other tournaments are there?
I think you got it. Yeah, there's a small tournament in Virginia Beach that's happening if anyone's in that area on the 21st of June. But yeah, the 28th is going to be the June majors for the World Ricci League, and as you said, Oklahoma, Las Vegas, and New York. Still spots available for those if you'd like to register. Ricci Nomi pretty solidly locked in there, but it's going to be a monstrous tournament in New York. Over 200 players registered for that. And, of course, North Texas happening in August. The Chicago area Ricci tournament, September. PML Open in October. So many live events happening in the U.S. If you are, a player in the U.S. and you want to know if there's Mahjong happening near you, you can get in contact with the American Ricci Mahjong League or with the American Ricci Association, and we will connect you with a tournament or with a club or with players that are looking for games. Absolutely. Lots of people from all over the country participate in this league, so we have connections.
Absolutely. I would also like to point out places like Colorado, who might not have enough club members for a open tournament to be hosted, but they do actually have home games, about 4, 8, sometimes even 12 players. So there are games happening all over the country.
Very good. Well, we have reached the end of the day here for American Ricci Mahjong League content, but we'll definitely be back next Wednesday for another stream, the final, perhaps, stream of the spring session, and a lot yet to be determined in terms of the promotion relegation. So if we get any bonus well, what is the word I'm looking for? Streams. Make sure to subscribe to the channel, or at least send us a follow so that you know when we go live for all the exciting Session 6 action. And until next time, have a great night. I'll see you then.
You, everyone.